What if someone told you that one of the most profound texts of ancient wisdom was intentionally removed from the Bible? The Book of Enoch holds startling revelations about celestial beings, fallen angels, and prophecies so bold they were hidden away for generations. Religious leaders once banned its reading, yet even suppression could not erase it. This ancient manuscript has endured. Today, we open its forbidden pages. But before we begin, if you find this kind of content meaningful, or simply engaging as you pass the time, consider leaving a like and subscribing. It truly makes a difference. Let us know, too, where you're watching from, and what hour finds you in this moment. Now then, shall we begin? The book they tried to erase. In the shadowed hills of Ethiopia, as the 18th century reached its close, a quiet moment of discovery shifted the way we look at the past. In a dim monastery, a British explorer stood hushed in awe. A monk handed him a faded stack of pages. This, the monk whispered, has been guarded through lifetimes. The explorer could not yet know. He was holding a text hidden from the world for more than 1,600 years. A book so powerful, ancient leaders once demanded every copy be destroyed. A story so peculiar, it was said no man should read it again. This was the Book of Enoch. For centuries, it was only a name, a ghost tale spoken by scholars. They knew it had existed. They sensed its presence in early faith, but the words themselves had vanished, kept from the hands of readers for reasons left unsaid. Why would a book cause such fear? What truths did it carry that had to be sealed away? The answers live within its pages. There are tales of angels who left heaven to marry human women, legends of giant children who brought ruin to the early world, visions of cosmic warfare, hidden realms, and watchers from the stars. These were not merely stories to those who first believed. For many, they were sacred history. The account of how grace was lost. Enoch names them the Watchers. Fallen angels who taught humankind the tools of war, the art of beauty, and the enchantments of magic. The text speaks of their punishment. Chained in shadows, it maps the halls of heaven. It describes the fiery chariot of God. No wonder power was afraid. This was not just a forbidden manuscript. It was a road not taken. It unveiled a world more alive, more strange, more vast than many were willing to acknowledge. And yet, something remarkable occurred. Though removed from official scripture, echoes of Enoch's words remain. His presence lingers between Bible verses. His angels inhabit dreams and canvases. His voice, warning of heaven's justice, still carries across the centuries. The story of the Book of Enoch is the story of an idea that refused to be silenced, of language that waited, patient and powerful, until the world was ready to listen again. Now, from the dark, Enoch speaks, not as a relic of dust, but as a voice of breath and fire. From the edge of first faith, it calls us to look skyward and ask again, what have we not yet understood about our own beginning? The book once erased has returned, and nothing, not memory, not meaning, not history, will look the same again. In the words to follow, we will walk the path of Enoch. We will stand before angels who lost their place. We will face the giants who once thundered upon the earth. We will gaze behind the veil, where the throne of heaven waits unseen. And perhaps, like that British explorer, in the low light of an ancient monastery, we may discover that some books were not hidden because of evil, but because of truths too strong for their time. So what is this manuscript that slumbered so long in the shadow of silence? The Book of Enoch is not a single tale. It is a constellation of visions, bound in aged covers. It opens a window into belief once held sacred by those who, like us, gazed up at the stars. At its heart, it claims to record the words of Enoch, great-grandfather to Noah. In the Bible, he is but a whisper. Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. That brief line ignited wonder. What does it mean to vanish without death? Where was Enoch taken? The text we hold was likely written between 300 and 100 years before Christ. Its oldest songs may have been sung for centuries before they were ever written. Composed in Aramaic, it passed hand to hand within Jewish communities in a time ruled by foreign empires. The structure of the Book of Enoch is like a house with many rooms. It has 5 core parts, each speaking in a different tone, each bearing its own message. The first is the Book of the Watchers, perhaps the most familiar and widely quoted section. Here begins the tale of angels who left their post in heaven, drawn by the beauty of human women, their descent did not bring peace. It brought ruin, not just to themselves, but to all life on the earth. This section also offers a vision, a guided walk through heaven's courts, where Enoch is led to the very seat of God. Here we learn of angels who abandoned their stations in heaven, drawn down by the beauty of mortal women. Their decision to cross that sacred boundary unleashed disaster not just upon themselves, but across all the living world. This section takes us beyond the earth, through the shining corridors of heaven, where angels lead Enoch to behold the throne of God. Next, the Book of Parables unfolds. It tells of a coming judge, a figure known as the Son of Man, who will restore all things at the close of time. For many readers, these words whisper early signs, echoes of themes that later grew in Christian tradition. The astronomical book may seem, at first glance, dry and mechanical, a study of sun, moon, and stars on their ordained routes. But look deeper, and you'll find a sacred calendar, a celestial clock to mark holy seasons, to walk in step with heaven's rhythm. Then come the dream visions. Enoch shares a tapestry of dreams, where human history is told through animal form: sheep and wolves, eagles and oxen. Each symbol carries the weight of nations and rulers, mapped in a tale of beasts. Finally, we meet the Epistle of Enoch, a letter of wisdom, penned for those who will live in the last trembling days before the great judgment. Woven through all 5 parts runs a single thread: the idea that our world is not only what our eyes can see. Behind the ordinary lies a deeper order, a realm unseen, where great forces move in patterns, etched by the hand of God. Human choices echo upwards. Heaven's will descends and return. To the early keepers of these stories, the Book of Enoch was no fiction. It was hidden history, sacred memory, a legacy entrusted by one who stood before the throne itself. It offered a map, a way to make sense of beauty and pain, woven into one world. What makes this text so essential is the way it filled in what others only hinted. Where Scripture whispers of fallen angels, Enoch names them, describes their works. Where prophets glimpse God from afar, Enoch walks the halls. Where warnings of judgment are vague, Enoch gives fire shape and name. This is no mere relic from a forgotten shelf. It's a lost chapter of first belief, a fragment that, once found, reshapes everything around it. It lets us look again at what once lay only in shadow, banned, buried, and resurrected. But how does a text once revered vanish from the world's grasp? The fall of Enoch's book is as strange as the stories it holds. In the earliest days of sacred thought, the Book of Enoch stood tall among revered writings. Jewish scholars cited it. Early Christians praised it. Even the writer of Jude, a voice within the New Testament, quotes Enoch as prophecy by name. But by the 4th century, a shift had begun. As church leaders labored to define one official doctrine, texts that strayed from the path were quietly set aside. Books that told of angels and unseen worlds raised difficult questions. What, exactly, was worthy of belief? In the year 367, Bishop Athanasius of Alexandria wrote his list of which books were truly holy. The Book of Enoch was not included. Other councils followed his lead. Lines were drawn. Some writings were welcomed in, others were left out. But why was Enoch denied a place? Some argue its wild visions of fallen angels conflicted with new understandings of sin. Others say its depictions of God and heaven no longer aligned with established teachings. A few claim it resembled other banned texts that veered too far into falsehood. Whatever the reason, the result is unmistakable. Scribes ceased to copy it. Libraries allowed their copies to decay. And slowly, a book that had once taught men how to read the stars was forgotten. Yet not all forgot. Far from the reach of church decrees, Enoch found refuge in the highlands of Ethiopia, where an ancient branch of Christianity took root. His book remained sacred. There, in a place of old faith and older stones, monks preserved it, writing its words by hand. Again and again, across centuries, time marched on. Empires rose, empires fell. The world moved forward and lost memory of what it once held. Then, in the late 1700s, a turning point emerged. A Scottish explorer named James Bruce traveled deep into Ethiopia, seeking the source of the Nile River. But what he found was something far rarer: 3 handwritten copies of the long-lost Book of Enoch, still read, still honored, still treasured by Ethiopian monks. Bruce carried one copy back to Europe. At first, it caused little stir. It was written in Guizi, an ancient language few could interpret, but the news spread, slowly at first, across universities and sacred halls. This was no strange novelty. It was the voice of a book thought forever lost. In 1821, Richard Lawrence, a scholar at Oxford, translated it into English in full, and suddenly, after more than 1,000 years of silence, Enoch's voice returned to the West. What followed was not a rush, but a steady rising, a quiet resurrection. More copies emerged. More eyes read the forbidden pages. Better translations followed, and as scholars read more deeply, they began to understand just how much this ancient book had influenced the beliefs of those who came before. Then, in the mid-1900s, among the Dead Sea Scrolls, fragments of the oldest known copies of Enoch were uncovered, written in Aramaic. They proved beyond doubt that this wasn't some late invention, but an ancient and sacred text, honored by Jewish communities long before Christ walked the earth. Now, in our time, the Book of Enoch has returned, not as official scripture read aloud in churches, but as a window, a vision into forgotten ways of seeing both heaven and earth. Its angels, its dreams, and its warnings now live again through films, through novels, through painted canvas. Its voice speaks in how we imagine the struggle between light and shadow, between what saves and what devours. The book they tried to erase has risen again, and those who open it today do not find cultish fantasy, but a missing chapter from the long, unfinished story of how humankind has tried to make sense of stars above and darkness within. Enoch, the man, the patriarch, the prophet, the myth. Before we walk through the haunting pages of his book, we must pause. We must ask, who was this man named Enoch? And why was he seen as one who could speak of cosmic truths? In the book of Genesis, Enoch appears briefly, his name just a few lines in a long list of names. He was the seventh from Adam, father of Methuselah, the man who lived longer than any other soul recorded in the Bible. But what truly sets Enoch apart are the few words used to mark his end. Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. Unlike others in that lineage, Enoch never died. He vanished, taken by God while still breathing, still walking. This slender phrase opened 1,000 doors of wonder. What does it mean to walk with God? Where did Enoch go? And most of all, what did he witness beyond the veil of this world? In time, that quiet name became something more. Enoch evolved from a line in Scripture into a being of mystery and power. In the centuries before Christ, Jewish writers spoke of him as the first to write holy things. Some believed he taught mankind to measure time, to count the stars, to trace the heavens with understanding. Others whispered that he alone knew the hidden names of God. The Book of Jubilees, an ancient sacred writing, tells of angels who taught Enoch the secrets of time, the weathers, and the courses of stars. It says he was the first to write books of wisdom, to leave behind knowledge for future generations. So Enoch was not merely good. He became the first prophet, the first scribe, the first cartographer of the sky. And over time, this vision of Enoch as the guardian of cosmic truths grew only stronger. By the first century, many Jewish and early Christian teachers believed Enoch had entered the throne room of God and returned. Some even claimed he had been changed into an angel himself, the mighty Metatron, scribe of heaven. In Christian thought, Enoch was often linked to Elijah, another man lifted to heaven without facing death. Some taught that these two would return in the final days to stand against the darkness. Others saw Enoch as proof that a human, by walking in holiness, could rise beyond flesh. Yet Enoch's legacy goes further still. In Islamic tradition, he appears as Idris, a prophet known for patience and wisdom. He is said to be the first to use a pen, the first to study the stars. Some tales speak of him rising to heaven after death, then being brought back to life in the very presence of God. Even in lands where his book was banned, Enoch the man endured. His image stood in medieval mystery plays, ascending to the stars. Renaissance artists painted him among clouds, beside angels, in robes of light. Parents named their sons after him, in hopes that they too might walk close with God. Across all these stories and beliefs, one thread remains. Enoch is the man who crossed the boundary between earth and heaven, and returned to speak of it. He is the one who saw what others only imagined. He is the breach in the wall that separates the divine from the dust. Perhaps this is why Enoch still endures. In a world carved into flesh and spirit, into seen and unseen, into birth and passing, he remains the exception, the one who went beyond, the one who saw what was never meant for human eyes. And in his journey, many souls find their own quiet hope, that perhaps one day they too might glimpse beyond the veil, that death is not the only door to that which lies beyond, that sometimes heaven bends down and lifts a living soul into its radiant chambers. As we now turn to the book that carries his name, we must remember this. Whatever hands wrote these words down, they say they speak what Enoch saw. They invite us to see, through the eyes of a man who, for reasons known only to God, was allowed to witness the deep wheels that move the world, the fire behind the stars, the throne that stands at the center of it all, the fall of the Watchers. Now we step into the very heart of the Book of Enoch, the tale of the Watchers. This story forms the core, the center of what made this text so beloved and yet so feared. It speaks of a moment when the boundary between heaven and earth grew dangerously thin, and in that space, beings of light made a choice that would cast shadows across all time. It begins with the Watchers, angels tasked with watching over the young and forming world. 200 of these mighty spirits stood faithful in the heavens, gazing down upon the new earth and its growing tribes. Their role was simple: to guard, to observe, to keep heaven and earth separate. But as they looked down upon humankind, something ancient and wild stirred in them, something that had never meant to wake. They saw the daughters of men and were moved by their beauty. Led by their captain, Samjaza, these angels made a pact among themselves. They would leave their celestial posts. They would take on mortal form. They would descend and take human women as their wives. Yet even angels feared what might come. Samjaza, their leader, feared he alone would suffer the punishment if their plan invited God's wrath. "Let us all swear an oath," he said. "Let us bind ourselves with a curse, never to turn away, but to go through with this together." And so, on the summit of Mount Hermon, 200 angels swore a dark oath. They bound themselves to their desire. They would do this thing, no matter the cost. In the days of Jared, father of Enoch, they came down. Each angel chose a woman. Each took her as his wife. But from these unions came not ordinary children, but giants, the Nephilim, beings whose hunger knew no end, whose size shattered all balance. But the Watchers did more than create monstrous sons. They began to teach humans the very knowledge heaven had kept hidden. Azel taught the forging of weapons, swords, knives, shields, and armor. He revealed how to shape metals and cut jewels. Samjaza taught enchantments, root cutting, the ways of spells. Armoros taught how to break enchantments. Barakal gave knowledge of the stars. Kokabel revealed the signs of the heavens. Others taught signs of the earth, the path of the moon, and even how to paint the face with pigments and colors. Each angel gave a secret, a gift, arts mankind was not ready to hold. At first, these gifts might seem harmless. What danger is there in tracking the stars or shaping a sword? But the Book of Enoch tells us these were seeds of ruin. Weapons led to war. Jewels fed pride. Magic turned hearts away from God and toward hidden powers. The Watchers hadn't just broken a rule. They brought down a fire from heaven that scorched what it touched. Power without wisdom, knowledge without love, and the world began to groan beneath the weight. The giants, the Nephilim, devoured all they found: plants, animals, and then they turned to humans. They drank blood. They turned upon each other. The teachings of the Watchers, meant for light, were used for war, greed, and self-exaltation. The first murder, Cain and Abel, now grew into tribal slaughter. The first lie blossomed into systems of deception. The world began its slide into chaos, all from a single choice, by beings who were sent to watch, not touch. In heaven, others saw the archangels, Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel, looked upon the earth and heard the cries rising. They brought these cries before God. "See what Azel has done," they said. "He has taught mankind all manner of sin. He has revealed the eternal secrets, which were meant to remain only in heaven. This first chapter of Enoch's tale ends not in peace, but with heaven's gaze, turning toward the earth, no longer in grace, but in judgment. The watchers had sown wind. Now they, and the world they corrupted, would reap the storm. In this ancient account rings a warning, still heard today, that there are lines not meant to be crossed, that mixing heaven and earth without God's blessing brings ruin, not glory, that knowledge without love, power without wisdom, passion without restraint, these birth monsters, not joy. And yet, beneath the weight of this dark tale lies a strange comfort. Even when angels fall, God does not abandon the world. Even when watchers fail, new messengers are sent. The world may crack, it may break, but it is never forgotten by the one who formed it. The Nephilim, giants of old, the world was still young when their feet touched the soil. Towering beings, half mortal, half divine, they cast shadows that stretched across ancient hills. The Nephilim, their story began with a love forbidden, angels drawn to the beauty of women. These were no gentle giants. From myth or tale, the Book of Enoch claims they stood 300 cubits tall, nearly 500 feet, perhaps a symbol of exaggeration, a relic of ancient storytelling. Yet even scaled down, they would dwarf any human. Imagine standing beneath a figure 3 times your size, with strength to match. The name Nephilim comes from the Hebrew root, those who fall, or those who cause others to fall. And fall, they did. These weren't heroes, they were monsters. Enoch's account speaks plainly. They began to sin against birds, beasts, reptiles, and fish. They devoured one another's flesh and drank blood. A world once home to peaceful creatures suddenly faced predators unlike any it had known. The hunger of the Nephilim knew no bounds. When plants and animals could no longer satisfy them, they turned on mankind. Enoch repeats the grim scene. They devoured humans and continued their sins against all living things. Their appetite was not just for food. They consumed the world. Resources vanished beneath their needs. Forests cleared, rivers emptied, herds vanished, all to fill the bellies of beings who never felt full. This story isn't found only in Enoch. Genesis 6 offers a brief echo. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown. But where the Bible offers one verse, Enoch opens the entire shadowed tale. Stories of giants live in cultures across the world. Greek myths tell of titans who fought gods. Norse legends speak of the Jutnar, beings as large as mountains. Native American tribes tell of cannibal giants who hunted humans. Are these scattered myths or distant memories of something real? Could ancient people have tried to explain fossil bones? Or is there something deeper? The Nephilim left more than stories. Some point to ancient structures of massive stone, too large to move with known means. Others note weapons and armor of giant size and sacred texts. The Bible itself speaks of the bed of Og, king of Bashan, a bed of iron over 13 feet long. Their violence grew until every corner of the earth was touched. Enoch writes, "The whole earth has been corrupted through the works taught by Ozil. To him ascribe all sin." The world cried beneath their weight. Their hunger, heaven heard. Human cries rose to the throne of God. The archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, looked down in horror. The Nephilim were more than a thread of flesh. They were the sign of cosmic rebellion, divine and human, mingled without right. Life that should never have been. In ancient belief, order was sacred. The Nephilim were chaos in living form. Their story holds a warning. Strength and size do not define true might. Power without mercy is nothing. Wisdom alone leads to what endures. The giants had strength but chose cruelty, and judgment came for them. Their tale remains in our memory. Even now, we tell of giants. Some friendly, most terrifying. Perhaps these tales whisper old fears. That something vast and strong could one day consume all we love. Enoch's record offers this warning. Power without wisdom, hunger without limits. The Nephilim fell, not for their size, but because their hearts were small. The corruption of mankind. Before the Watchers came, humans lived plainly. They sowed seeds, raised animals, built shelters, and formed families. Hard lives, but honest. Days marked by the rhythm of nature. Then everything changed. Enoch writes, "The angels didn't just take wives. They became teachers, but they did not teach wisdom. They taught knowledge too heavy to bear." Ozzel taught how to forge weapons, swords, knives, shields, breastplates. Before this, men fought with hands and sticks. Now, death came from a distance, and it came with intent. Enoch records, "There arose much godlessness. They committed fornication. They were led astray. They became corrupt in all their ways." Shamahaza taught spellbinding and the cutting of roots. Early sorcery. Armoros showed how to undo spells. Barakel revealed the signs of stars. Kokobel taught the heavens. Ezekiel taught the clouds and weather. Arakiel, the signs of earth. Shamshiel, the signs of the sun. Sariel, the course of the moon. Each knowledge shared moved man farther from innocence. Women learned to adorn themselves with gems and metal. They painted their faces, took pride in appearance. Enoch describes how they adorned themselves with bracelets, chains, rings, eye colorings, precious stones, and all manner of dyes. It was not merely vanity. It marked a deep shift, from the inner soul to the outer shell, from substance to surface, from reverence to reflection. Before long, humanity began to echo the violence of the giants beside them. What was once awe turned to mimicry. They lifted the weapons once forged by angels and turned them first against beasts, then against one another. Blood darkened the soil. Brothers turned against brothers. Families broke apart. Tribes raided tribes. The knowledge brought by the Watchers was not neutral. It reshaped the human mind. Men no longer saw the earth as something to walk with. They sought to rule it. Beasts became trophies. Other humans became threats. Enoch says, "Men perished. They cried aloud. Their voices reached heaven. Corruption spread like breath in winter. Invisible, but everywhere. Some knowledge brought instant ruin. A blade in the heart. A battle under stars. Other wisdom festered slowly. Astrology made men fear the sky. What once sparked wonder became a map of fate and fear. Plant lore, intended for healing, bred dependence, envy, and power. The knowledge of metal may have been the most dangerous of all. They learned to gouge the earth, melt her bones into rivers, shape her heart into swords. This knowledge would echo through the ages. From the first fires to our own machines of war, the angels had broken a trust. Knowledge meant to unfold over ages was dropped like thunder into mortal minds. No warning, no restraint. Like handing fire to a child, it brought brilliance, and it brought ruin. Enoch does not blame knowledge. It blames the gift without the guide, learning without love, power without understanding, doing without asking, "Should I?" As men fell, the world fell with them. Animals grew wild, plants withered, skies turned strange. Creation itself began to recoil. The soil trembled under the weight of sin, and worship turned. Humans no longer looked to the true maker. They bent knees to the Watchers. They forgot the one who breathed stars, and instead praised those who revealed them. Truth was traded for cleverness, wonder for control, and heaven watched. The garden, once beautiful, became battlefield. Even divine patience, deep as oceans, has its end. The warning stands. Knowledge without wisdom breaks the hand that holds it. Power without goodness rots the soul. Progress without purpose leads only to a silent, shining void. Now as our own age learns to shape gene and mind, Enoch's whisper returns. Not all that can be known should be known, not until we are ready to carry its cost. In this broken world, one man chose another path. Genesis says simply, Enoch walked with God. 300 years of daily choice. Peace instead of violence. Wisdom over trickery. Gentleness over power. Enoch was not a king, not a warrior. He was a scribe, a quiet keeper of pattern and pen. While others took up blades, he held ink in silence. Picture him. A quiet man with weathered hands, eyes that watch stars, not battles, feet planted in earth, mind fixed on the heavens, while others fought for land. He listened for seasons, while they sought wealth. He taught his children silence. His life was no haven. He lived beneath the same dark sky, the same shadow of giants. But he saw something others missed, where others saw chaos. He traced design, where others heard noise. He heard rhythm. In one night, in stillness, everything changed. The ancient text says, when the sons of men increased, and daughters were born to them. The angels of heaven saw and desired. But Enoch, he was chosen for listening. The call did not thunder. It came as a knowing, a dream, a presence, a summons. Two men appeared before him, taller than any mortal. Their faces shone like suns. Eyes burned like coals. Fire touched their lips. Their robes shimmered like feathers. Their feet, purple. Their wings, brighter than gold. These were not the fallen. These were true messengers. They spoke with the sound of deep waters. Fear not, Enoch, righteous man, scribe of righteousness. Come, speak to the watchers of heaven, who have abandoned their posts. Tell them, they shall not find peace. Imagine that call. A mortal, called to pronounce judgment on immortals. A man, asked to rebuke angels. A child, sent to face giants. And still, Enoch answered. Yet Enoch agreed. The text says plainly, I went and sat by the waters of Dan. In the land of Dan, west of Hermon, he read their petition, until sleep overtook him. And when he woke, the hills still stood, the sky unchanged. But something in him was no longer the same. He had become a bridge between realms, a thread woven between heaven and earth. His first task, find the watchers. They had not hidden well. Their stain on the world was too deep. But facing them, that required a courage few souls have known. Enoch journeyed to their dwelling. He found them trembling. Fear clutched them. Powerful still, yet broken. Even fallen, they remained, beings of ancient strength. But they saw in Enoch what they had lost, the divine presence still glowing within. They begged him, speak for us. Intercede. We who have forsaken the high heaven, once proud rulers, now turned to plea. They who once judged, now sought mercy. Enoch listened. They confessed. They had taught forbidden arts, taken human brides, and birthed the Nephilim. They knew judgment loomed, yet hoped, perhaps for a sliver of mercy. Heavy with their words, Enoch prepared, not to cross lands, but to ascend. He would go beyond the world itself, into heaven's halls, to carry their request, to hear God's reply. This was his turning. The scribe became a prophet. The man of letters became a witness to glory. The one who walked with God would soon walk in God's realm. Judgment of the fallen angels. The journey began in darkness. Enoch wrote, they brought me to a place with flames like fire, and when they willed, they appeared as men. His angelic guide shifted forms, sometimes human, sometimes light itself. They bore him past mountains, beyond oceans, into realms unseen by any other man. And they lifted me into heaven. I came to a wall made of crystal, surrounded by fire like tongues. He had left the world of flesh, time-bent, thoughts war bodies, before heaven's throne. Enoch stood. He delivered their plea, but heaven had already seen every human tear, counted every drop of blood, witnessed. Judgment came, not loud, but certain. Go tell the watchers, who sent you to speak. You were to speak for men, not men for you. They had hoped for mercy. Instead, he returned, as voice of sentence. The verdict rang clear. You have been in heaven, but not all secrets were yours. What you knew was shallow. Still you gave it away. To women, to men, and through your words, evil blossomed. Their punishment matched their sin. They had crossed holy bounds. Now bounds would trap them. They had stained the earth. Now earth would reject them. Bind Azazel hand and foot. Cast him into darkness. Open a pit in the desert. Throw him there. Heap sharp stones upon him. Bury him in shadow. Let him see no light again. For beings of fire, darkness was terror. For spirits who once flew, chains were torment. For those who stood in God's light, exile was agony. Each watcher received judgment. Some were chained in valleys, some cast into flames. All would await a final day. The book describes their prison. I saw a pit, deep and wide, pillars of fire rising within. The depth could not be measured. This was not only pain, but exile, not just justice, but the result of their own choice. They turned to darkness in their hearts. Now, darkness embraced them, but heaven's judgment was more than vengeance. It was to protect. As long as the watchers roamed, humanity would not rest. And what of their children? The giants? They too faced the blade. Their spirits lived on, unseen, unnourished, unthirsting. Invisible yet active, they attack. They corrupt. They fight. They bring sorrow. Wherever they rise, they consume peace. They resist order. They do not eat. They do not thirst. They are not seen. And still they rise. Against sons of men. Against daughters. Because from them they came. But unlike their fathers, these spirits would not remain forever. Even they, in time, would find rest. The giants fell. They were destroyed. Their flesh undone. Their spirits fled. Even judgment, wrapped in flame, held mercy. The end had come, but it would also begin again. Enoch stood witness, a man among powers. He saw justice pure, a scale balanced between wrath and grace. The angels told him, as God lives, this decree stands. No hand can stay it. Some today call it harsh, but the text reveals a cosmos built not of chaos, but law. Actions birth consequences. Boundaries hold meaning. Power demands restraint. The watchers had not tripped. They had walked, eyes open, into sin and the world. It wept. Under their legacy, they unraveled the divine pattern. They broke what should have remained whole. But still, justice came. It always comes. No throne, no crown, no spirit can defy the quiet pull of judgment, the cosmic jail. For beneath unseen peaks, past lands no man can chart, waits a prison, not stonewalled, not barred by iron. Reality itself holds it closed. This is the jail Enoch saw, a place for angels who turned. He describes it. And I saw a place, more dreadful still, a fire great and roaring, a cleft down to the abyss. Pillars of flame fell, endlessly. No edge, no source, no end. This was not reform, not discipline. It was pure containment. These beings, too vast, too wild, had to be sealed. Outside time, different cells, different chains. Azael, who birthed war and pride, dig a pit in the desert, throw him in, cover him in stone and shadow. Samjaza, the leader, bind him for 70 generations beneath the earth until final judgment seals his fate. These were not stories. They were spiritual realms, real prisons for real powers, where, not on any map, but beyond, at the edges of the scene, the prisoners were not just watchers. Their children, the Nephilim, were also judged. Their bodies would drown, but their spirits? They linger, not alive, not dead. They roam between veils. Enoch saw it. They rise against the sons of men and the women from whom they were born. They are the spirits we now call demons, disembodied, but hungry. The jail has levels. Some burn, some freeze, some are so dark no eye can measure. Chains, not iron, but weight itself. Bonds of God's word, locks of light, and silence. And the watchers? Watch still, by angels, true and loyal. Raphael, whose name means God heals, stands guard. His presence reminds, even in wrath, healing waits. Other texts speak of this jail. Peter writes of angels in chains, held in darkness. Jude names those who left their place, now kept, until the great day. Is it myth or memory? The likeness between stories from far-flung lands whispers. These are echoes of something real, a shared knowing, deep in the soul of man. 70 generations. The prison was set, not short, not light. 70 generations, a span symbolizing completion, a full age of waiting. The watchers were not meant to be reformed. They were to be held, not taught, contained. Their punishment was to watch, to witness the slow echo of their choice. Through time, they once flew among stars. Now they sat, chained in shadow. They learned, freedom without limits isn't freedom. It is fire loosed in a dry field. True freedom walks within walls built of order, respect, and law. Justice, true justice, unfolds across centuries. Balance always returns. Order rises. Darkness flees. The archangels enter. Michael, Raphael, Uriel, Gabriel. The sky dimmed. The court of heaven stirred. The mighty force stood, not as symbols, as forces, as hands of the divine decree. Michael, who is like God, the commander. Raphael, God heals. the bearer of remedy. Uriel, light of God, he who brings wisdom and warning. Gabriel, strength of God, messenger of judgment and mercy. They stood before the throne. They saw the cries rising from earth. They heard the weeping. The giants, they consumed all. They devoured the land, the creatures, the people, even one another. God spoke, his voice, a thunder, rolling through heaven. To Noah, son of Lamech, go. Gabriel received the command. Warn him, he alone shall remain. Raphael, bind Azazel, cast him in the dark, crush him beneath jagged rock. Let no light touch his face again, for he had taught war. He had shown man how to bleed. On Judgment Day, the fire waits. Uriel, tell Noah what is to come. Not a corner of the world shall stay dry. And Michael, take the weightiest task. Find some Jaza, bind him and his brethren. Let them watch their children fall, then seal them, 70 generations deep. Not death, worse, the slow agony of time. The angels bowed. Each knew his path. Each bore heaven's burden. They moved, like fire, like storm. Michael descended. The earth trembled. Mountains shifted. Forests bent. Raphael followed, chains in hand, chains forged before time. Uriel's light flared. The wise understood. The blind did not see. Gabriel found Noah. The man fell, face to earth. Stand, said Gabriel. Heaven has plans for you. The divine verdict. Enoch watched, not with fear, but with awe. He saw justice move, not rushed, but exact. No plea, no appeal, no delay. The sentence would stand. The archangels, once sent, returned. They stood again at the throne, silent, sure still. Their presence, purpose incarnate, symbols of God's will, now fulfilled, bound in darkness. The watchers waited, their children, soon to drown beneath the sky's grief. The line between heaven and earth, drawn again, the age of mingling, broken. The flood is fire, water and fire, not enemies here, brothers, twins of cleansing. The flood burned, but with water. It scorched, but with rain. God had seen. The earth twisted. Nature turned. Giants fed. And he spoke to Enoch. See, it is ruined. Let water fall. Let sky weep. Let the deep split open. Noah built. Angels moved. Chains tightened. Judgment began. Azazel would watch. His sons would drown. 1 year. A full turning of time. Only Noah remains. Only those within the wooden womb. The ark. From giants to shadows. The Nephilim fall. Their bodies drown. Their spirits do not die. Enoch saw. They became like mist. Not gone, but ghost. Hungry, bitter, wandering. They cause sorrow. They crave form, but they do not eat. They do not sleep. They linger. The flood. A reset, but not the end. Rain fell. 40 days. Waters climbed. Mountains vanished. All that lived, drowned. Except Noah. Except those sealed inside. Enoch saw this too. Before, during, after. A cleansing not of rage, but of purpose. A cut, not a wound. A new age begins. 8 souls. Saved. To rebuild. To begin again. The ark opened. Life stepped out. Sky cleared. A promise was given. No more flood. A bow set in the sky. Yet Enoch saw further. The first cleansing. By water. The last. By fire. He heard God's voice again. This will not return. Not again. Not forever. The flood closed one chapter. It ended the watcher's interference. It sealed the line. No more giants. No more mingling. The world changed. Heaven stood apart. Earth bore its weight, but not abandoned. Preserved. Noah walked forward. Animals followed. Seeds broke soil. Life. Rising again. Enoch wrote what would be lost. He held the memory. A witness. To justice. To ruin. To rebirth. To the cost of crossing heaven's veil. The 3 parables. The heart of Enoch's vision deepens. 3 mighty dreams. 3 parables of ending and beginning. He leaves the flood behind. Now his eyes turn forward, past the hills of time, into the last days. This is his second vision, the vision of wisdom. Not a prophecy, but a pattern. Each parable, a world. Each vision, a warning, a wonder. The first, heaven's own realm. Enoch walks the halls of the righteous dead. He sees rest. He sees dwelling places of light. He sees the hidden one, the Messiah not yet named. The second, Judgment Day, the Son of Man appears. Kings tremble. Secrets burn through silence. The righteous rejoice. All things revealed. The third, reward and wrath. The wicked fall, the righteous rise. New heavens unfurl, a changed earth wakes. Light and darkness finally split. These visions do not walk in straight lines. They spiral, they rise and return. Time bends, past, present, and what will be. Seen at once, I saw the secrets. Enoch says, not dreams, certainties. What heaven sees has already come to pass. These parables hold 4 signs. First, their reach, not just earth, but the whole cosmos. Second, judgment and righteousness. One scale, one law. Third, the books, all deeds written, nothing hidden. Fourth, the Messiah, a figure rising from before the first light. The language here, symbols. Animals are nations, stars are spirits, mountains, powers. To read, one must see as angels see. Enoch asks, who can know the mind of God? These truths are spoken in human tongue, but born in heaven. Later generations feared these parables. Too bold, too clear, too much fire for mortal hands. But others, the first Christians, found here a shape, a name, the Son of Man, Ancient of Days beside him, not servant, but equal, before stars, before breath. His name was named. These parables moved through centuries. Their symbols, buried in our stories. Their justice, not delayed, but eternal. Enoch saw all this, while flesh still clothed him, a living man, with heaven in his eyes. He rose, not in body, but in sight. He saw the holy ones. He wrote their secrets. He left them for the world. The 3 parables, his final echo, their images, shaped law, prayer, and fire. The Messiah, not angel, not merely man, but one in whom righteousness dwells. Enoch saw him and whispered, who is this? The angel answered, this is he, the Son of Man, in grace, in authority, seated beside the head of days, not beneath, but beside. And Enoch, he wrote, the Son of Man, he judges angels, he weighs kings. He is named before the stars are lit. For marks crown him. First, pre-existent, before the first light. Second, righteous, aligned with heaven. Third, judge. Even rulers fall before him. Fourth, chosen. God's own breath placed him there. This Son of Man, he shall raise the low. He shall loosen the grip of tyrants. He shall crush the teeth of the sinner. A world of thrones, a world reversed. The first fall, the last ascend. One figure, 2 fates, judgment and salvation. The wicked tremble, the faithful are lifted. He strikes down kings who forget the source of their crowns. This judge sees all, not just hands, but hearts, not just acts, but intent. The earth yields its dead. Sheol opens. The elect sit with him. The throne is set. Books open. All are seen. He bears divinity, not alone, but bestowed. From before the beginning to the end of time, he stands. Even angels fall beneath his gaze. Their chains made eternal. Their deeds measured by him. The watchers, bound in darkness, await his word. For the first Christians, his shadow matched the Christ. The Gospels echo him. Jesus names himself Son of Man. The same throne, the same angels, the same judgment seat. But he is more than wrath. He is balm. He wipes tears. He stills the earth. With him, they rise. They lie down. They eat. They live. Forever. His reward is not mere escape, but union. Union with the one who walks beside God. Later faiths would grow these seeds, but Enoch planted them. A Messiah, a judge, an eternal one, appearing when all ends begin. Hope came not in armies, but in this vision. The rulers of now are not the rulers forever. The throne is already occupied, the judge already seated. The Ancient of Days. Enoch saw him, beyond galaxies, beyond time. A fire-blazing throne, white hair like wool, garments of snow, eyes like flame. Thousands stood before him. 10,000 times 10,000 attended him. Numbers, without measure. Ranks of angels, ready. This court has no confusion, no false witness, no failed memory. Every deed accounted, every word stored, every thought captured. The books open, the judgment set. These words would echo in Revelation, the book of life, the book of record. Fire, not water, flows from beneath the throne, for rivers blaze, and the angels stand ready. Enoch saw and wrote, and we remember the chambers of judgment. Seats empty, awaiting names. Enoch looked. He saw a throne, high and gleaming, its frame like crystal, its wheels burned like suns. Beneath it, rivers of fire ran. The Ancient of Days does not judge alone. Beside him, the Son of Man. Together, they see. Together, they sentence. Reward or ruin. Life or second death. Enoch beheld a court no mortal should see. Ranks beyond reckoning. Dominions aligned. Powers in array. Cherubim. Seraphim. Still as flame. The head of days came with his archangels. Michael. Gabriel. Raphael. Phanuel. And 10,000 times 10,000 followed. The Watcher's hour had come. 70 generations complete. Temporary chains turned eternal. Each approached. Each heard. No appeal. No mercy. The ones who twisted the world, who sowed forbidden knowledge, met their sentence. Why does evil last? Why do the righteous bleed? Justice delayed is not justice denied. Heaven speaks last. The Ancient of Days came. Judgment was given to the saints. They possessed the kingdom. Not escape, transformation. Heaven to earth. Reward for the faithful. The heavenly court set the pattern. Records kept. Evidence weighed. Witnesses heard. Truth, not power, determines verdict. The dead will rise. Sheol shall yield its store. Souls and bodies meet the throne. And before this throne, no bribe, no trick, no lie. The Son of Man cannot be deceived. The Ancient of Days cannot be moved. Hope for the oppressed. Terror for the exalted. Heaven's court awaits all. In those days, angels move. They gather and rise. Eastward against kingdoms. The kings tremble. Restlessness stirs thrones. Heaven overthrows. Enoch sees the reset. Evil judged. Righteous lifted. Creation made clean. When Christians spoke of the day of the Lord, they spoke echoes of this. The throne, the books, the angels, the sentence. Enoch saw, and stood, and spoke. Judgment for all. Salvation for the faithful. The chosen one. Night falls on Judea. Stars pierce the velvet sky. A scribe bends in lamplight. Ink flows. Words etched. Visions sealed. Feared by some. Cherished by others. Who will be saved? Who will stand? Since first stargaze, we've asked. The Book of Enoch whispers. A chosen one. Seated on fire's throne. He is light. He is judge. He divides the people. No middle ground. Elect or condemned. Those who keep the word are gathered. They join the congregation of light. And the others, cast outside. The chosen one continued. Not chosen by birth. Not wealth. Not tribe. But by mercy shown. By kindness kept. By faith held fast in dark. Enoch says, their prayers rise like incense. Smoke curling into heaven's vault. No kindness forgotten. No mercy lost. The universe remembers. Those who stand for light. Their names are written. Books above. Pages of flame. Not myth. Not metaphor. Ledgers of judgment. The book of life. Ancient echo. Still spoken. Still feared. Still hoped for. This choosing cuts through crowns. Beggar and king. Same before the throne. Hope to the ruled. Hope to the crushed. Hope where power mocks. Light fills their homes. Faces blaze like dawn. Eyes lit from within. Salvation is not escape. It is fireborn change. Form still human. Being now light. Days without end. They walk with the Son of Man. Before other texts dared, Enoch named eternal life. Justice no longer here, but coming. In another place. Another time. Enoch's secret shaped a church. A cross. A hope whispered in dark corners. When law failed, these words stood. Someone keeps count. What is it to be chosen? Walk in light. Show mercy. Keep covenant. Even when all is shadow, heaven counts what men forget. Secrets of time and space. A lone figure stands. Desert beneath. Sky above. The stars turn slowly. Enoch watches. The seventh from Adam sees. Beyond flesh. Beyond dust. His eyes pass veils. He walks where shadow meets glory. Enoch saw and wrote, not myths, but movements of the spheres. I saw the winds, he says, turning the heavens. I saw the chambers of hail and the gates of snow. The universe has purpose. Stars take their places. Nothing is chance. Time flows by design. Through palaces of crystal, he walks. Time braided like thread. First heaven, then 6 more. Wonders compound. Each world greater. 7 heavens. Faiths would build upon them. Wheels of fire. Turning wheels. Within them, more wheels. A prophet named Ezekiel would see them, too. Enoch sees science wedded to spirit. He notes the star's path, the planet's pace, but not for data, for pattern, design. Doors open in sky, suns rise, suns fall, gates open, stars file out, each at its time. A clockwork cosmos. Time is not what we think, not only past and future, but river, all currents joined. He sees the scroll, unfurled, before time began. Fates would echo this. God knew, God knows. To the far north, Enoch walks, mountains of jewel, sapphire, emerald, ruby, not treasures, but foundations, stones of upper worlds. Light has weight, angels wear it, as robe, as skin. Enoch sees, and we follow, the throne beyond light. The throne blazed, light beyond light, a brilliance mortal eyes could never bear. Here, light is more than fire. It is knowing, it is spirit. From this light, fates learn how glory looks. The waiting chambers, in great hollow mountains, spirits lie in silence, some in peace, some in dark, places between breath and silence. Purgatory, paradise, waiting halls, water flows from beneath the throne. Mercy is river, fire burns but does not devour. Air carries prayers, birds on wind, the elements speak. All creation listens, reading the signs. What does this mean for now? This ancient map of stars. Perhaps reality is deeper than the veil of matter. There are patterns within patterns, meanings beneath sight. Enoch says the universe lives, breathes, remembers. A book for the reader of signs. Beneath palaces and crowns, gold halls gleam, marble shines. Guard still. A king stirs in restless sleep. Armies obey him, walls protect him, but fear creeps unseen. The Book of Enoch knows this fear. The challenge of heaven. Enoch did not whisper to kings. He thundered. Heaven watches. Heaven counts. Other texts ask kings to be just. Enoch declares, justice will come for kings. He saw those who command the earth, who make mountains tremble with words. Builders of palaces, carvers of names. They think themselves eternal. Enoch saw their end, naked before the stars. Kings stripped of robe. No cheer, no flattery. Crowns meaningless. Gold silent. Power useless. Force breaks before fire. He wrote this when kings killed for less. Every unjust word, every theft, every widow's cry, recorded in heaven's book. No bribe, no hiding. The great valley. Angels lead him. To a valley. To a pit. Here, kings fall. No fine clothes. No gold. Only soul. Only weight of deeds. The proud kneel. The merciless find no mercy. Balance returns. Earth's silence is heaven's echo. When masks fall, all ranks stripped. Birth, wealth, fame, ashes. Only character remains. The shepherd kind stands taller than the king cruel. Faces burn not with flame, but with shame. They see, at last, not wounds of flesh, but wounds of conscience. Justice revealed. Yet judgment is not only pain. It is clarity. Those who ruled well. Honor. The defenders. Praise. Power is not evil. Only its misuse bleeds wrath. Echoes across ages. The Book of Enoch shouts into power. Someone watches. Someone writes. To the oppressed, justice is not lost. To the ruler, your ledger is read. Many sought to silence it, to burn it, but it lived, whispered in prisons. When Christians faced Rome, they turned here and stood. When peasants heard whispers of Enoch, they saw their suffering in cosmic light. Even now, these ancient words remind, power without justice falls. Night comes, palace lights fade, but the king lies awake. His dreams unravel. Maybe the echo of Enoch. No wall high enough for truth. All rulers must kneel to what they've done. Where light goes, sunset bleeds the sky. Amber, gold. In ancient lands, they asked, where does light go when darkness comes? Where do we go when our flame fades? The Book of Enoch spoke. Before his vision, the dead lived in shadows. Not heaven, not hell, only quiet loss. But Enoch saw more. Death was doorway, the body to soil, the soul beyond. He shaped how faiths see what comes next. The realms of joy. I saw where the righteous walk, Enoch wrote. Not in gloom, but in light. They walk with joy. They shine. They eat wisdom. Drink rivers of light. Heaven was touchable, shining once. They do not float. They rise. Their faces, beams of joy. Beings of light, still bearing form. This, long before other texts dared say such things. Hope shifted from earth to eternity. Not all sleep. Some walk in paradise already. Some sleep. Some wander. Souls between. These visions shaped maps of the after. The bones return. Bone to bone, Enoch says. Dead rise whole. Before many others, he saw resurrection. Justice extends past breath. The comfort of the dead. The harmed find healing. The grieving rejoice. Tears dried. Old wounds made new. Heaven remembers. Those who died for truth shine brightest. This hope held martyrs in fire, in prisons. Nothing lost. Death loses some sting. Kindness remains. Mercy is noticed. Love outlasts the flesh. The river of time. 1,000 years, one day. One breath, an eternity. The dead float beyond time's river. Past, present, future, one sea. What awaits? What comes when the heart stops? Enoch says, not end. Beginning. The sun sets to rise again, where no shadow falls. Whisper at dusk. As stars rise, Enoch's voice. Death is doorway, not wall. Beyond, a justice truer than any court. A joy brighter than any day. This vision still stands. When we tremble at the mystery, he speaks. The second death begins. A storm splits the ancient hills. Lightning tears the sky, cracks in the world itself. In firelit caves, Enoch's darkest visions were etched. Warnings carved in shadow. Here, final justice begins. The second death continues. Enoch did not look away. He named what waits for those who choose darkness. His visions shaped hell for Jew, for Christian, for Muslim. Not easy, but enduring. I saw a valley of fire, he said. Again and again it blazed. A realm for the merciless. A place with no mercy. Second death. Not the body's fall, but soul's final unraveling. The scales swing back. Suffering returns to the hands that gave it. Darkness for those who adored it. Judgment. Not rage, but perfect return. Flames wielded by angels. Not demons, but agents of justice. Later, Dante drew these echoes. Hell with mirrors, sin in circles. A bridge over fire, the just walk. The wicked fall. This image crossed into Islam, a hair-thin path above the flame. But Enoch's fire was not pain for pleasure. It was consequence. Hate burns in both life and after. Walls built in cruelty become barriers of flame. The powerful, they fall harder. Their gold stays behind. Their deeds remain. They harmed many. Their judgment is greater. In one passage, the damned see joy, but can't touch it. They watch and weep. The pain is vision, seeing what was possible and what they lost. Time twists here. It stretches. Maybe eternal, maybe not. Some lines hint, fire may cleanse. Hope flickers in the edge of torment. Readers still ask, is it forever? Is fire final? The text doesn't delight in punishment. It warns. It pleads. Choose mercy. Choose light while you can. Justice is not just terror. It's promise. In a world where the good fall and the wicked feast, this vision matters. Nothing is missed. Nothing hidden remains so. Rivers of fire and rivers of mercy. Darkness has domain, but not the throne. Even in fire, hope flickers. Creation moves toward justice. The storm ends. Rain comes. Scribes dry the ink. The visions endure. Enoch's echo remains. How shall we live? What comes after? Will justice rise? Dawn answers, your life matters. Your works echo beyond your years. Enoch the watcher of stars. Stars watched us before we watched them. Before telescopes, they led ships, marked feasts, whispered stories. But Enoch, he knew their names. In hidden pages, not just angels, not just judgment, but sky. The astronomical book, it's called now. Enoch the Sky Watcher. He wrote calendars. Not guesses, but time itself. 12 gates. Sun's path. Moon's light. Each counted. Each remembered. Enoch the Watcher of stars. Stars watched us. Before we ever watched them. Before we built lenses. Or raised towers. They guided ships. Marked the feasts. Told old stories. But Enoch, he listened deeper. He knew their rhythms. Their names. In his book. Not just angels. Not just judgment. But sky. The astronomical book. As it's now known. Enoch. Not only seer. But sky watcher. He wrote calendars. From silence and starlight. No guesses. But time itself. 12 gates. Paths of the sun. Growth of the moon. Each counted. Each remembered. But these pages weren't idle stargazing. For Enoch, The sky was law, each sunrise, each phase of the moon, a witness to God's order. If they strayed, so did the world below. Enoch's calendar, 364 days, not 365 and a quarter. Not a mistake, a design. For seasons, 13 weeks each. Perfect rhythm. In that rhythm, worship, right days, right feasts, right prayers. Heavens beat on earth. But Enoch saw a rift. Moon and sun, out of sync. One group followed the moon, another the sun. Holy days fell apart. He asked, how can we worship as one if we can't agree on time? Wrong days, wrong worship, breaks the covenant. A calendar debate. But more, in his day, Jerusalem's priests argued the same. Moon or sun, old or new. Not theory, but fasting, feasting, praying. Enoch's wisdom ran deeper still. He mapped the stars, noted their rising, their setting, month by month, length of days, duration of nights, measured in hours. Not a dreamer, a watcher. Night after night, he sat, eyes lifted, patterns noted. In those patterns, God's thoughts. Scholars think this might be Enoch's oldest text, perhaps as old as the 3rd century BCE, long before telescopes. He built sky science with nothing but eyes and patience. What strikes us now? How Enoch kept what we divide: stars and scripture, math and mercy, celestial law and vision. For him, it was one cloth. The same eye that tracked the moon also saw the throne. We build walls. Science here, theology there. Enoch built bridges. Think of him. Ancient nights. No light but stars. No tool but vision. He counted. He tracked. He marked. Clay tablets. Papyrus rolls. Marks for time. He didn't know his notes would last 1,000 years. Didn't dream we'd read them with tools that see galaxies. Yet still, we do. The astronomical book reminds us he wasn't only mystic. He built systems. He studied God's skywriting. His calendar didn't last. His gates aren't on maps. But his longing to map the cosmos, that lives on. In observatories, in star charts, in hearts that ask, where are we? What does it mean? Each clear night, we stand where Enoch stood, under those same stars, asking, how does it all work? What does it mean? Those questions, Enoch asked them too. His answers came, not in flashes, but in watching, night upon night, season by season. Deep seeing becomes wisdom. Wisdom binds heaven to earth. And Enoch became something more than man. Next time you see the moon wax full, then wane, remember him, the one who counted, the one who watched, and found in moonlight a law, not just a glow, but a calendar of heaven. This was Enoch's fate, to walk the heights, led by Uriel, the angel of fire and light. Not any angel, but the one who holds wisdom, who unlocks the vaults of the stars. Of all heaven's host, Uriel alone guided Enoch through the laws of sky and season. They began at the edge of earth. Uriel raised a hand toward the sun and said, watch, the sun does not wander. It enters by gates, 6 in the east, 6 in the west. In summer, the sun uses the gates farthest north. In winter, the southern ones. That is why the days grow long, then shrink, then stretch again. Each gate marks not just a place, but a moment, a turning, a call, to sow or to gather, to fast or to feast. The sun's rhythm is heaven's calendar. But Uriel showed more. He showed the winds. For gates, for winds. One brings heat, another cold. One brings rain, another drought. Blessings or famine, blown by command. When winds stray from their gates, trouble begins. Disorder in heaven means unrest below. As humans must keep the law, so the winds must keep their way. Nothing moves by chance. Each star, each moon, each planet has its road. The sky spins on a wheel, centered on the throne. If one shifts, a crack opens in the frame of the world. Uriel leads further still. He shows where stars go to die. Yes, even stars may sin. They are cast down, burning but not bright. Flames unseen, judgment rendered. Those vanished stars were not forgotten. They are signs of disobedience, of divine sentence. Fallen stars, fallen angels, science and spirit, blurred into one image. For Enoch, the laws of heaven and the law of God came from one source. To break one was to shatter both. Uriel leads to 12 mountains. not of earth, but of glory. They are pillars, made of silver and sapphire, ruby and emerald, foundations of the dome that holds the world. Then the waters, not rivers, not oceans, but waters above, waters beneath, held back by a word, loosed once in Noah's day, still waiting, still brimming. Respect them, Uriel might have said, as you respect cliff's edge. Enoch wrote it all, not maps, but signs and times. He marked the turning, the flow, the season's rise. His book is a lantern, for paths no eye has seen. What astonishes us? He wrote astronomy, and vision in one voice, moon phases and angel ranks, solar courses and paradise gates. For Enoch and Uriel, light was alive, the wind was breath, the gates were doors that opened and closed at God's will. Today, we divide sky from scripture, but Enoch's world had no walls. The cosmos and the covenant spoke the same truth in different syllables. Uriel, light of God, showed not just how things move, but why they mean. Their journey reached edges, where dark is born, where light first stirs, to the chambers, where snow and hail wait, as judgment or mercy, to the throne that rules angels and men alike. And through Uriel's eyes, Enoch saw, the cosmos is not empty. It is crowded with purpose, lined with watching eyes, shaped by guiding hands. No empty corners, no lawless skies. When the vision ends, Enoch returns, but he is not the same. He walks, but now he walks with heaven's knowledge in his bones. This was Enoch's fate, to walk the heights, led by Uriel, the angel of fire and light. Not any angel, but the one who holds wisdom, who unlocks the vaults of the stars. Of all heaven's host, Uriel alone guided Enoch through the laws of sky and season. They began at the edge of earth. Uriel raised a hand toward the sun and said, "Watch, the sun does not wander. It enters by gates, 6 in the east, 6 in the west. In summer, the sun uses the gates farthest north. In winter, the southern ones. That is why the days grow long, then shrink, then stretch again. Each gate marks not just a place, but a moment, a turning, a call, to sow or to gather, to fast or to feast. The sun's rhythm is heaven's calendar." But Uriel showed more. He showed the winds. For gates, for winds, one brings heat, another cold. One brings rain, another drought. Blessings or famine, blown by command. When winds stray from their gates, trouble begins. Disorder in heaven means unrest below. As humans must keep the law, so the winds must keep their way. Nothing moves by chance. Each star, each moon, each planet has its road. The sky spins on a wheel, centered on the throne. If one shifts, a crack opens in the frame of the world. Uriel leads further still. He shows where stars go to die. Yes, even stars may sin. They are cast down, burning but not bright. Flames unseen, judgment rendered. Those vanished stars were not forgotten. They are signs of disobedience, of divine sentence. Fallen stars, fallen angels, science and spirit, blurred into one image. For Enoch, the laws of heaven and the law of God came from one source. To break one was to shatter both. Uriel leads to 12 mountains, not of earth, but of glory. They are pillars, made of silver and sapphire, ruby and emerald, foundations of the dome that holds the world. Then the waters, not rivers, not oceans, but waters above, waters beneath, held back by a word, loosed once in Noah's day, still waiting, still brimming. Respect them, Uriel might have said, as you respect cliff's edge. Enoch wrote it all, not maps, but signs and times. He marked the turning, the flow, the season's rise. His book is a lantern, for paths no eye has seen. What astonishes us? He wrote astronomy, and vision in one voice, moon phases and angel ranks, solar courses and paradise gates. For Enoch and Uriel, light was alive, the wind was breath, the gates were doors that opened and closed at God's will. Today, we divide sky from scripture, but Enoch's world had no walls. The cosmos and the covenant spoke the same truth in different syllables. Uriel, light of God, showed not just how things move, but why they mean. Their journey reached edges, where dark is born, where light first stirs, to the chambers, where snow and hail wait, as judgment or mercy, to the throne that rules angels and men alike. And through Uriel's eyes, Enoch saw, the cosmos is not empty. It is crowded with purpose, lined with watching eyes, shaped by guiding hands. No empty corners, no lawless skies. When the vision ends, Enoch returns, but he is not the same. He walks, but now he walks with heaven's knowledge in his bones. A man who has seen the gears and levers of creation, a man who understands that each sunrise is not just light breaking through, but a door swinging open. The maps he brings back aren't drawn on paper. They're written in words that mix fact and vision, science and song. They tell us not just where things are in space, but what they mean in God's plan. Today's maps mark roads and rivers. Enoch's map marked moral paths through the stars. Today's science measures light years and orbits. Enoch's wisdom measured the distance between human acts and divine will. And at the center of this cosmic map stands Uriel, the angel of light, who shows that true seeing isn't just about sharp eyes. It's about an open heart, a mind ready to find meaning in each star's path, each season's turn, each gate that opens to let God's light through. When we look up at night now, we might name stars and planets, count light years, and chart orbits. But Enoch would ask, do you see the gates? Do you know the paths? Can you read in these lights the laws that bind not just matter but souls, the firmament and the abyss? This was Enoch's fate, to walk the heights, led by Uriel, the angel of fire and light. Not any angel, but the one who holds wisdom, who unlocks the vaults of the stars. Of all heaven's host, Uriel alone guided Enoch through the laws of sky and season. They began at the edge of earth. Uriel raised a hand toward the sun and said, watch, the sun does not wander. It enters by gates, 6 in the east, 6 in the west. In summer, the sun uses the gates farthest north. In winter, the southern ones. That is why the days grow long, then shrink, then stretch again. Each gate marks not just a place, but a moment, a turning, a call, to sow or to gather, to fast or to feast. The sun's rhythm is heaven's calendar. But Uriel showed more. He showed the winds. For gates, for winds. One brings heat, another cold. One brings rain, another drought. Blessings or famine, blown by command. When winds stray from their gates, trouble begins. Disorder in heaven means unrest below. As humans must keep the law, so the winds must keep their way. Nothing moves by chance. Each star, each moon, each planet has its road. The sky spins on a wheel, centered on the throne. If one shifts, a crack opens in the frame of the world. Uriel leads further still. He shows where stars go to die. Yes, even stars may sin. They are cast down, burning but not bright. Flames unseen, judgment rendered. Those vanished stars were not forgotten. They are signs of disobedience, of divine sentence. Fallen stars, fallen angels, science and spirit, blurred into one image. For Enoch, the laws of heaven and the law of God came from one source. To break one was to shatter both. Uriel leads to 12 mountains, not of earth, but of glory. They are pillars, made of silver and sapphire, ruby and emerald, foundations of the dome that holds the world. Then the waters, not rivers, not oceans, but waters above, waters beneath, held back by a word, loosed once in Noah's day, still waiting, still brimming. Respect them, Uriel might have said, as you respect cliff's edge. Enoch wrote it all, not maps, but signs and times. He marked the turning, the flow, the season's rise. His book is a lantern, for paths no eye has seen. What astonishes us? He wrote astronomy and vision in one voice, moon phases and angel ranks, solar courses and paradise gates. For Enoch and Uriel, light was alive, the wind was breath, the gates were doors that opened and closed at God's will. Today, we divide sky from scripture, but Enoch's world had no walls. The cosmos and the covenant spoke the same truth in different syllables. Uriel, light of God, showed not just how things move, but why they mean. Their journey reached edges, where dark is born, where light first stirs, to the chambers, where snow and hail wait, as judgment or mercy, to the throne that rules angels and men alike. And through Uriel's eyes, Enoch saw, the cosmos is not empty. It is crowded with purpose, lined with watching eyes, shaped by guiding hands. No empty corners. No lawless skies. When the vision ends, Enoch returns. But he is not the same. He walks. But now he walks with heaven's knowledge in his bones. A man who has seen the gears and levers of creation. A man who understands that each sunrise is not just light breaking through, but a door swinging open. The maps he brings back aren't drawn on paper. They're written in words that mix fact and vision, science and song. They tell us not just where things are in space, but what they mean in God's plan. Today's maps mark roads and rivers. Enoch's map marked moral paths through the stars. Today's science measures light years and orbits. Enoch's wisdom measured the distance between human acts and divine will. And at the center of this cosmic map stands Uriel, the angel of light, who shows that true seeing isn't just about sharp eyes. It's about an open heart, a mind ready to find meaning in each star's path, each season's turn, each gate that opens to let God's light through. When we look up at night now, we might name stars and planets, count light years, and chart orbits. But Enoch would ask, do you see the gates? Do you know the paths? Can you read in these lights the laws that bind not just matter, but souls? The firmament and the abyss. The pits of the abyss yawn to swallow what falls from grace. It's a living house, a breathing world, not a machine that runs without mind, but a garden tended by its maker's hand. Perhaps the strangest part of Enoch's cosmic tour comes when he sees the very edge of things, the place where being meets nothing, where God's word has shaped reality, and beyond which lies only void. Here stand angels whose task never ends. They maintain the boundary between what is and what isn't. They repair any crack in the world's shell. They make sure chaos never leaks into order. As long as they stand watch, Uriel explains, the world remains whole. Should they fail, all would fall back into the void from which God called it. This edge place shows Enoch something few texts dare suggest. That creation isn't just a past event, but an ongoing act. God doesn't just make the world once and step back. Divine power keeps holding back nothing, making room for something with each passing breath. Near this edge, Enoch sees one more wonder. The very walls of the universe are not made of stone or metal, but of light itself, pure light folded and shaped by God's word. Light so bright it would blind human eyes. Light that doesn't just shine, but sings. The singing walls mark the final boundary of Enoch's journey. Beyond them, even angels fear to go. Beyond them lies only God's direct presence, too pure, too raw, for any created being to face. As Uriel leads Enoch back toward the human world, the angel gives one last lesson. The cosmos they've mapped isn't just out there in space. It lives within each human heart as well. The same gates that open in the sky, Uriel says, open in the soul. The same rivers that flow through heaven flow through human hope. The same abyss that waits below the world waits within each choice to turn from light. With these words, Enoch's cosmic tour becomes more than strange geography. It becomes a map of moral space. Each human life mirrors the vast creation. Each soul contains the same war between light and dark, order and chaos. When Enoch returns to human lands, he brings back more than star charts or weather signs. He brings a vision that places human life at the heart of cosmic drama, not lost in vast space, not crushed by endless time, but standing where heaven and earth, light and dark, meet and mingle. The firmament above and the abyss below aren't just places out there. They mark the heights to which we might rise, the depths to which we might fall, the walls that both limit and protect our brief, bright lives. The Lord of the sheep grows angry. He lets wild beasts surround the flock. Lions and tigers, bears and wolves draw near. They circle, waiting, teeth bared. Then rise the great empires, beasts of prey with claws and crowns. Assyria pounces like a lion. Babylon soars like an eagle. Each takes its turn, tearing the flock. The house collapses. The sheep scatter, some devoured, some chained and driven away. This vision mirrors exile. The temple razed, the faithful dragged into darkness. But the dream refuses despair. The Lord appoints shepherds, watchers of the scattered. Some guard the flock, others betray it. Some allow the wolves to feast. Some lead sheep into snares. Judgment awaits them all. Enoch sees a book, a divine record. Each sheep counted, none forgotten. A plan behind the suffering, a number known only to God. The flock returns. They build a new house. Not grand, not gold, but home. Still, many wander blind. Then rise the rams, horned defenders, the Maccabees, bold against Greek wings and claws. They drive out the ravens. They scatter the eagles. For a while, peace grazes the field. Then the vision deepens. A great ram appears. His horn is might. He rises against every beast. Not one, but all that devour. As he battles, the sheep awaken. Their eyes open. Their wool gleams white. They change. They grow horns. The prey become defenders. Lambs become lions in spirit. Then comes the sign. A bull, black-legged, mighty and feared. All beasts flee. All sheep bow. He is not mere king, not prophet. He is the Messiah. With him, the world breaks into bloom. Wolves lie beside lambs. Lions graze with oxen. Predator and prey, folded into peace. Nations and peoples become one flock, one shepherd, one pasture. The animal apocalypse speaks in symbols. Ancient, potent, bulls bear crowns. Sheep carry faith. Predators mark empire, brutal and vast. When animals change, so do kingdoms. When bulls become sheep, power kneels to righteousness. This dream holds a scroll of all time, from Eden to reckoning. But the beasts are not beasts. They choose. They build. They worship. This is code. This is courage. In times of tyranny, truth wore wool and horn. Words that named kings might die in fire, but visions of rams could pass safely. Whispers of warning, seeds of hope. Here is Enoch, not only stargazer, but historian, a prophet reading the rise and fall of men, a teacher mapping the divine hand and empire's shadow. History is not wild. It does not wander. A plan walks among the beasts. Scattered sheep will return. Fangs will fall away. The world will come to rest. For those in chains, for those in ruin, this dream carried the pulse of promise. The Lord still watches. The souls still numbered. The day comes when the hunted stand unafraid. In peace, this tale may seem fanciful, but in days of blood and claw, it rings with holy truth. The white bull appears. The dream continues. Beasts still move, but now they move toward light. A great bull rises, white as moon, horns like judgment. When he speaks, all listen, prey and predator alike fall silent. This is no prophet, no ruler. This is the end and the beginning. The Messiah, the one who makes all things new. The Lord of the sheep grows angry. He lets wild beasts surround the flock. Lions and tigers, bears and wolves draw near. They circle, waiting, teeth bared. Then rise the great empires, beasts of prey with claws and crowns. Assyria pounces like a lion. Babylon soars like an eagle. Each takes its turn, tearing the flock. The house collapses. The sheep scatter. Some devoured, some chained and driven away. This vision mirrors exile. The temple razed, the faithful dragged into darkness. But the dream refuses despair. The Lord appoints shepherds, watchers of the scattered. Some guard the flock, others betray it. Some allow the wolves to feast. Some lead sheep into snares. Judgment awaits them all. Enoch sees a book, a divine record. Each sheep counted, none forgotten. A plan behind the suffering, a number known only to God. The flock returns. They build a new house. Not grand, not gold, but home. Still, many wander blind. Then rise the rams, horned defenders, the Maccabees, bold against Greek wings and claws. They drive out the ravens. They scatter the eagles. For a while, peace grazes the field. Then the vision deepens. A great ram appears. His horn is might. He rises against every beast. Not one, but all that devour. As he battles, the sheep awaken. Their eyes open. Their wool gleams white. They change. They grow horns. The prey become defenders. Lambs become lions in spirit. Then comes the sign. A bull, black-legged, mighty and feared. All beasts flee. All sheep bow. He is not mere king, not prophet. He is the Messiah. With him, the world breaks into bloom. Wolves lie beside lambs. Lions graze with oxen. Predator and prey, folded into peace. Nations and peoples become one flock, one shepherd, one pasture. The animal apocalypse speaks in symbols. Ancient, potent, bulls bear crowns. Sheep carry faith. Predators mark empire. Brutal and vast. When animals change, so do kingdoms. When bulls become sheep, power kneels to righteousness. This dream holds a scroll of all time, from Eden to reckoning. But the beasts are not beasts. They choose. They build. They worship. This is code. This is courage. In times of tyranny, truth wore wool and horn. Words that named kings might die in fire, but visions of rams could pass safely. Whispers of warning, seeds of hope. Here is Enoch, not only stargazer, but historian, a prophet reading the rise and fall of men, a teacher mapping the divine hand in empire's shadow. History is not wild. It does not wander. A plan walks among the beasts. Scattered sheep will return. Fangs will fall away. The world will come to rest. For those in chains, for those in ruin, this dream carried the pulse of promise. The Lord still watches. The souls still numbered. The day comes when the hunted stand unafraid. In peace, this tale may seem fanciful, but in days of blood and claw, it rings with holy truth. The white bull appears. The dream continues. Beasts still move, but now they move toward light. A great bull rises, white as moon, horns like judgment. When he speaks, all listen, prey and predator alike fall silent. This is no prophet, no ruler. This is the end and the beginning. The Messiah, the one who makes all things new. In some texts, he's the son of David. In others, the anointed one. Here, in Enoch's dream, he takes the first form, a white bull, but greater still. When he steps into history, change ripples. The rams, once sheep, change again. They become white bulls, return to the shape before sin, the form God first blessed. This is not just appearance, but nature. The faithful transform, eyes wide open, hearts pure, strength awakened. They reflect the one they follow. And stranger still, the predators change too. Lions, bears, wolves, and foxes lay down their hunt. They join the bulls. They join the sheep. A new herd forms. Hatred forgotten. Wounds healed. Blood debts paid. All become white bulls. Not just the righteous, but all creatures. Great and small. A universal shift. Nothing left untouched. At the center, the white bull. All eyes fix on him. All hearts beat in his rhythm. He does not rule by fear. He does not cower. He leads by being what all are meant to become. This vision reveals Enoch's deepest hope, not for victory alone, but for peace, where old enemies gather at the same table. The great white bull destroys no wolf. He transforms them. He does not merely save. He lifts. His coming does not end the world. It begins it anew. Then, one more wonder. The white bull changes again. He becomes a wild ox, great black horns, power upon power, strength clothed in holiness. All herds rejoice. All beasts bow. A new kind of song rises. Not bleats, not roars. A voice united. Creation in harmony. This dream within a dream tells the end. Not war, but peace. Not destruction, but healing. The great white bull is judge, king, priest, prophet, all in one. To the wounded, to the enslaved, to the scattered. He is not comfort. He is hope. The hope, as wide as their pain. This vision lives on. Daniel saw one like a son of man. In the clouds, Revelation saw a rider. On a white horse. Different shapes. Same promise. One will come to make all things right. But Enoch saw more. Not some saved. Others lost. Not reward for few, but rebirth for all. Not a world split, but one made whole. Hope that dares to dream. Even now, when things feel broken, this vision endures. It whispers, yes, all tears will be wiped, all wounds healed, all bridges crossed. Not by our hands, by God's. Not in our time, but in His. Some say, this vision shaped early thoughts of Christ, the white bull, who changes all. Enemies become kin. His presence alters the very nature of the world. Others see the Messiah of Israel, restoring David's throne, rebuilding the temple. But always, he brings one thing, divine peace. For all who remember the dream, the mighty ox rises. His strength breaks every yoke. Rome and all oppressors. Some see in him the son of David. Others, the anointed one. Still others glimpse ancient Persia. Light against dark. Evil pulled back into dawn. no matter the route. The white bull stands. Strange, yet simple. Beasts speak. Forms shift. But the promise is clear. Love wins. Peace comes. God finishes. What God begins. When the dream closes, its visions linger. Bulls and sheep, lambs and wolves, all beasts find a shared path, not by one side's triumph, but by all sides transformed. In a world of borders and blades, such dreams feel too soft. But maybe softness is power. Maybe we need visions wild enough to break our fears. Hope so wide, they shame our caution. The great white bull reminds us, hope once roared, before it learned to whisper, before it surrendered to small comforts, before it settled for endless division. Now he stands, a call in the pasture, to become what we were always meant to be, not by force, but by the weight of perfection, not through terror, but through love, pulling like a tide. This call still beats. Here, in Enoch's most daring dream, that one day, bulls and bears, sheep and wolves, high and low, all will join one flock, all will share one nature, all will lift one voice. In the psalm, creation was born to sing. Night settles on the ancient world. Look up, those stars, more than fire. To Enoch, they were living minds, with sacred work. Stars had duties. Some failed. They were cast out, chained, bound in flame. Not poetry, justice. Heaven has law. Even stars must answer. 7 stars he sees, mountains of burning light. Their crime? They missed their mark, failed to rise in their hour, and so they burn for 10,000 years. To us, a dim star is odd. To them, it meant the cosmos cracked. Planets too, not fixed. They wander. Planets, wanderers, not angels of motion, but rebels of heaven. Some paused, some turned back. To Enoch, this wasn't gravity, it was defiance. Uriel shows the prison, a place where even light is punished, where brightness is devoured by dark, where stars answer for sin. Why would stars fall? Because some joined the Watchers' rebellion. Their failure was moral, not just motion. Each body, a symbol, a soul, a comet, not ice, a sign, a blood moon, not eclipse, a warning. Matthew's Gospel, a star guides the wise. Revelation, stars fall. In the final days, these visions share Enoch's sight, stars that think, stars that act. The night sky, not random, it breathes, it judges, it heals. Even now, those lights whisper stories of fall and return, language of fire, shadow, and stillness. In Enoch's world, each soul, each star, each angel had its place, its time, its law. And when it fell, the universe would rise to correct the wound. The stars fell, but in falling, they taught us our own paths, our own duties, to stay true to the course set before us. In Enoch's sky, nothing falls forever. Even stars shall one day return to their rightful place, their heavens, their light. Words hold power. They shape worlds. They outlast kings. They whisper beyond empire. In Enoch's telling, words are not only spoken, they are kept, written down, preserved in heavenly scrolls that record all things. Libraries in the sky, books of the living, of the fallen, of the stars. They count not just names, but drops of rain. They follow birds in flight, trace shadows on stone. No secret remains, no thought hides. Every whisper finds its page. Tablets of heaven. Enoch walks among them. He meets angels, scribes of eternity, with pens of light, on scrolls of flame. They record each birth, each sorrow, each step taken, in silence or song. Uriel tells him, nothing is hidden from these books, not just for judgment, but memory, a universe that remembers. In one passage, Enoch becomes a scribe. They hand him the reed, ask him to write, and he does. Scroll after scroll, vision after vision, warnings, wonders, written by hand. This image held Enoch, scribe of heaven. Later, they'd call him the father of writing. But the books don't stop with memory. They look ahead. Enoch sees volumes, not yet written, histories to come. One scroll holds the names of the saved. One counts dust to burn in judgment. One follows each tear until it vanishes in light. Think how this echoed the Psalms. Your book knows all my days. Daniel, books opened at the last hour. Revelation, the book of life, and the names within. A world where nothing is lost, where each soul is written down. To early hearers, this brought fire, comfort. Their brief lives were seen. Warning, no moment went unseen. In an age when few could write, the thought of heaven's record meant everything. If kings kept scrolls, wouldn't God? If temples had ledgers, so would heaven. But these books were more than ledgers. They meant something. That every story was sacred. That all threads belong in the loom of time and stars. In a cruel world, Enoch saw order. Each life, a sentence. Each sentence, a part of God's unfolding story. Even if no one reads them here, Enoch says, they're written. They wait. They remember. Until the day all books open and every ending becomes beginning. Now the world shakes. The ground moves. The sky turns strange. Rivers dry or drown. To Enoch, these are not accidents. They are signs. A world out of tune. Creation bent beneath sin's weight. The world is not just matter. It breathes. It grieves. It's bound by law, moral, and cosmic. When one breaks, the whole groans. He sees it. How the forbidden teachings of the watchers don't just ruin hearts. They tear the very seams of the world. Look here, the angel says. A mountain split wide. This is where order broke. Where angels abandoned their post. Even the stones. Remember, earthquakes, not tectonic, but sorrow. Floods, tears from the soil. Storms, creation's rage. Not old fear, not superstition, but deep knowing that all things touch. That morality and matter are woven like thread. Pull one, and the other moves. When watchers teach men to mine, to melt, to make sharp edge from earth's marrow, they do more than pass on skills. They teach a way that scorns the order set at dawn. Creation feels it. Mountains tremble. Seas lift their heads. Stars flare in fury at the violence below. One angel tells Enoch, the earth is tilted now, its axis wrong. A mystery from ancient ink, yet real. Tilted not just in shape, but in soul. Off-center. From sin, rain misfalls. Crops falter. Beasts turn on man and beast alike. Nature forgets its rhythm. Chaos blooms from broken hearts. In a vision, Enoch sees reversal. The moon, it wanders. The sun, it rises where it should set. The heavens recoil, as if ashamed of earth, a fractured world. And Enoch's vision shapes Isaiah. A new heaven, a new earth, not from invention, but restoration. Jesus echoes it. Signs in sky, not weather, but warning. The stars tell of spirit. The moon weeps for sin. Heaven mirrors the heart, but Enoch does not leave us broken. He speaks of repair. The same God who traced the stars' paths can reset their course. The hand that raised mountains can heal their wounds. A new sky where no star sets. A new soil without curse, made whole from root to rim. Until then, we wait. Between fracture and fullness, the world groans. Paul would say, like a mother in labor, awaiting her hour. Rain, wind, tree, and seed. What we call simple was sacred. In Enoch's seeing, nothing just happens. Behind each gust, each falling drop, each petal, angels move. Each event carries intent. Nature speaks. A tongue we forgot. Enoch walks, led by angels, to the vaults of snow and hail, to the caves where winds sleep, until called to the spirits that tend leaf and root. See the clouds. The angel says, they are not mere vapor. They are alive, with task, with calling. Before time, they were assigned, not science, but sight, to see the sacred in the ordinary, to know the holy breath in all breath. Mountains, not stone only, they are pillars for the sky. Some reach to the gate of heaven, others mark what man must never cross. One glows crystal bright, day and night. Another burns with endless flame. Another bleeds nectar to feed the flowers, each with role, with reason. Trees, too, are not just trees. A great one gives wisdom. Its fruit remembers Eden. Each wood has voice and spirit and song. Enoch walks into a garden of trees. They smell beyond fragrance. Their leaves never fall. Their fruit never rots. Not just lovely, but right. How the world should be, how it was, how it shall be. The weather is language, thunder, angels speaking, lightning, swords of heaven, training for war, rain, falling in season, God's delight, drought, angels holding their sorrow. This way of seeing shaped centuries. When Jesus calms the storm, they see more than wind obeying. He speaks the tongue of angels, those who ride wind and wave. His word commands weather's soul. Revelation speaks of leaves healing the nations. Like Enoch, it sees and plants. More than shade, more than seed. They mend, they remember, they reach. Not worship of root and bark, but reverence for the breath behind the green. Every breeze, every droplet, every leaf. A line in the poem God first whispered. We see trees, but miss the reaching. We see clouds, but not the burdened spirits. We feel wind, but forget its origin. Enoch does not. He sees a book made of branches, a sky writing with thunder, time, not a straight line, but a river, a spiral, a wheel. He asks, where does it begin? Where does it end? Who carved its bedrock? Angels guide him. One chamber holds wheels of light, clocks, not of numbers, but of meaning. Another, books, each day, penned, from dawn to dusk. Time, his guide says, is not what you think. It loops, it sings back, its own notes. What was, will be, what comes, has come, past and future. Echoes, bound by divine breath. Some moments, thin, heaven brushes, earth, others, thick with meaning. Angels walk, as men. History divides not by chance, but by breath. The age of wonder, then the age of growth and grief. Enoch's own, where evil rose, but heaven opened. Then the flood, then law, then kings, then exile, and home, and beyond. The age of the king in flesh. Light blooming, dark growing. The age of judgment, of newness. Time, not just movement, but message. In one vision, time is thread. Angels weave, each life, a color, each sorrow, a stitch, each choice, a strand. Only God sees the whole. We see just the corner. Daniel speaks of rise and fall. He builds on Enoch's loom. John tells what must be. He stands where Enoch stood. Time, not random, not cruel, but woven. Their lives, brief, yet they mattered. Marked, every moment, watched by heaven. Today, we see time as arrow or circle. Enoch calls it both, a spiral, forward and around, each turn, fresh and known. Look back, see the patterns. They mean something, none of it wasted, all of it, part of a song, too large for one voice, but wrong without yours. Time flows, heaven turns, and the tapestry grows, thread by thread, life by life. Though we see through a glass, darkly, Enoch promises a day when the full pattern unfolds, not just fragments, not just threads, but the whole tapestry. In its glory, the epistle begins. The air, still, the voice, aged, no longer visions, no longer beasts or stars. A father speaks, not to angels, but to children, across time. His tone, plain, his eyes, clear. Two paths, one good, one ruin. He warns, not with threat, but sorrow. The wicked, no peace, no name, no trace. Yet in his voice, hope stirs, light awaits. Those who walk the narrow truth, he says, will not fall. His words bridge two worlds, then and now. Greed, lies, and pride, they echo. Still, the style, old, like Proverbs, like Ecclesiastes, but reaching ahead, toward ethics, still unborn. To Methuselah, his son, put these words to heart. All is weighed in an age of speed and shortcuts. His call, a long pause. The two ways, life or death, light or shadow, the way up or down, the choice, ours. What strikes? The emotion. This is no sermon. It's a soul, shaken. He saw what comes and returned, trembling. Woe, he cries, to those who lie as foundation, to those who bend the scales, to those who steal with a smile, each woe a drum in a storm, yet between hope, paths of peace, open, wisdom, like water, to the thirsty. These words are not ornaments, they are ropes, thrown to the drowning. He speaks of books, not of paper, but of memory. Goodness is not lost, it is written, saved. The scope shifts from daily choice to cosmic judgment, a grand return, lives playing out beneath eternity's gaze. This epistle, not a sermon, a testament of one who walked with God, the week of ages, time, a scroll in his hands, not seconds, not hours, but 7 great days, history, a plan, not a chaos. Day 1, creation blooms, Adam walks, hope sings. Day 2, sin enters, thorns replace petals. Day 3, Abraham hears, a promise roots, a people rise. Day 4, Moses leads, law burns in stone, the desert speaks. Day 5, kings, prophets, temples rise, shadows stretch. Day 6, exile, return, temples rebuilt, smaller, waiting, in silence. Day 7, rest, for the faithful, Sabbath, some call it, Messiah's day, where wrong is made right, and peace flows like a river. History, not fragments, but story. Modern minds may scoff. Time, they say, is chaos. But even now, we ache for meaning. We long for our line to count. Enoch got much right. Time is wheel, time is river, time that bends with heart. One day with God, 1,000 to us. Clock time and soul time in dark days. Hope, this too shall pass. In pride, a mirror, you are not the end. To those under hard boots, the message was clear. Tyrants are fog on God's sky. Still today, the framework holds. Doomsayers, mothers, strangers watching. The hour, we borrow what Enoch began. But the 8th day, it is more. Not just rest, but remaking, a new creation. And now, the question, what waits? When we die? A door, not a wall. Enoch answers, with images, souls and chambers. Waiting, not one fate, many rooms. For the righteous, light, peace, stillness, as soft as soil. For the wicked, shadows, truth heavy, before the flame. Between them, gray spaces, those who tried, those who changed, those who never heard. For them, growth, delay. This is a vision of both justice and mercy. All must face the scales, yet the final seal waits. Hope breathes, even here, deep valleys, where souls linger, books where all things are known, angels guiding, tender and true. These images shaped our afterlife. He doesn't tell, he shows why it matters now. Each kindness, each cruelty, weight on the soul. What we do remains. Life is brief, its shadow long. The soul's road continues. There is review, there is rest, there is fire that refines. Some glow already, others need to burn. For dwellings, light for the righteous, a place of reckoning for those unpunished, a mercy for the unburied, a home for the half-lost. Enoch saw it all, in modern minds, peering through the veil. See echoes, the light, the journey, the scales. No one escapes, not in Enoch's cosmos, not beneath God's sky. What sets Enoch apart? He wrote it with justice, a spine. But Enoch's vision does not end with the 7th day. Beyond that sacred rest, an 8th day waits, a beginning beyond time, the eternal morning. After history's long dusk, this pattern echoes through faith's long corridors, in mystic scrolls of Judaism, in Christian dreams, in monks charting the moon. Each drew breath from Enoch's rhythm, a week with a purpose. To the ancient soul, this was comfort. Today's weight had a frame, the pain a place, the tale written. Each age carried its color, none endured forever. Change came, ready or not, but beneath the turn, a golden thread. History, not chaos. A story, advancing. Modern minds may smile. Too neat, too tidy. We trust in chance, in effect without cause. Yet something stirs still, a hope that time means that our moment counts. Enoch saw what we sense. That time loops and leans forward. That every age has a voice. That moment's bend under the feet of the beholder. He wrote, "One day with God is 1,000 years. Clock time, soul time, not the same. In darkness, the 7 days whispered hope. In pride, they murmured restraint. To the conquered, Romans, Babylonians, Greeks, the message rang like iron. Tyrants are clouds. The sky belongs to God." This pattern still frames minds today. Prophets count signs. The common soul feels the closing hour. We wear Enoch's glasses, yet forget his name. But in all, the 8th day, after the storm, after the fire, not just rest, a birth, a new world. What comes after? What waits beyond breath? The old question. Enoch answers, not with silence, but vision. Death is no wall. It is a veil. He sees souls held in chambers vast, not one place, many. The righteous, light surrounds them. Their spirits, glowing lamps, in velvet dark. They rest, they wait, seeds beneath frost. But for the wicked, a darker hall, not torment, not yet, but sorrow. The weight of truth, already rising. Between the two, shades, gray, the tried, the failed but repentant, the unknowing. For them, places of pause, rooms of mercy. What stirs awe? Is this justice? Yes, but mercy too. No one escapes the scale, but no one's fate fixed until the day dawns. Hope lingers. Even there, he sees valleys where souls wait, books where every deed is inked, angels who walk the edge of death, guiding souls to their place. These visions, not forgotten, they shaped how heaven looks. But Enoch does more. He roots eternity in the now. Every choice, a stone added to the soul. Each kindness, each harm, a future shadow. Ancients felt it. Urgency. Life is brief. Its echo long. Nothing slips past. The watcher's eye. The journey, not ended at death, but a passage. He speaks of review, of rest, of readiness. Some souls, refined, like fire-struck gold. Others, already bright, just waiting. He names 4 places. 1. Righteous rest, as bright as noonday. 2. The unpunished wicked, a chamber of reckoning. 3. Those with no burial, O tomb, a mercy place. 4. Those between, neither lost, nor fully saved. Modern minds may hear echoes, near-death glimpses, the light, the review, the stage is past. Though ancient, it feels known. What makes Enoch's witness rare? He ties it to justice. That cannot be escaped. But Enoch's witness does not end with veils and chambers. Modern souls may see shadows, traces of near-death tales. The light, the life laid bare, the steps, the shift, the sense of being carried. Though ancient, his words resound like memory. What marks him? He doesn't dwell in fear, but justice. No cruelty escapes. No cry goes unheard. The cosmos itself, new, counted, wrote. He sees that day. Books open. Past, future, now, fused. Each soul, each shadow, each secret, uncovered. Truth, as sun at zenith. Too bright to dodge. But not just reckoning. More. Change. The worthy, not only saved, but made new. Stars, bright ones in the new sky. Creation unbroken. Death, unwoven. The long ache ends. The unjust find dawn. Their suffering held. Their tears, numbered. Justice comes. If not now, then in what comes next? And those who lived full, on borrowed pain. Enoch's words shook. No wealth shields. No throne hides. No darkness can hold back the light. What lies past that day? He glimpses. He stammers. A new world. Not rest. Renewal. Bodies risen, but changed. No fear. No hunger. No more wall. Between above and below. In old parchment. Death falters. Not fake. True, but not final. The soul moves. The line flows on. Towards something. Not yet sung, but waiting. The Pharisees. Early mystics. Apocalyptic preachers. Each bore traces of Enoch's echo. Though some would ban the book, its ripples could not be stilled. Dropped in the water, they moved outward, always outward. The Qumran scrolls confirmed it. Jewish thought, more river than stone. No one form, but many paths crossing under the same stars. Enoch offered more than prophecy. He gave vision. and to those hungry for heaven's truth. He gave it freely. For us, the link to Qumran matters. It shows the book lived. Not relic, but root. Not fable, but framework. In the desert, among those waiting for an end. That never came as planned. Enoch's flame stayed lit. They ordered their steps. By celestial rhythm, they trusted justice. Even when unseen. When Rome crushed them in 70 CE, the Essenes vanished. But before they were dust, they hid what mattered. Scrolls, visions, Enoch's name among them. They buried fire in caves, knowing, somehow, it was for future eyes. Time passed. Dust gathered. Then came shepherds. And history opened its hand. The scrolls woke. The flame breathed. Their lives, harsh, sacred, testify still. Enoch was no forgotten tale. It shaped their days, built their world. Not just words to read, but a rule for living. Not distant myths, but echoes from beyond the veil. That's why it frightened, why it was banned. The early church wrestled. Enoch was quoted, then questioned, beloved, then exiled. Imagine, a simple hall, oil lamps glowing, men in robes debating eternity. Some heard truth in Enoch. Others feared its reach. Its angels fell too far. Its stories too strange. Its vision too wild. Origen admired it, respected it, but doubted its hand. Was it truly Enoch's? He asked. Doubt grew. Whispers spread. Tertullian stood firm. A firebrand from North Africa. He believed Noah carried it through the flood. How, he asked. Could a book that speaks of Christ be false? But his voice faded. Other voices grew. Julius Africanus questioned the dates. How could Enoch know the post-flood world? Others echoed the concern. Leaves of doubt fell one by one. By the time Augustine walked, and Jerome translated, Enoch stood outside. Jerome, his words sharp, his brow furrowed, called it apocryphal, and the door shut. What frightened them most? The fallen angels. The suggestion that heaven could fail, that stars could choose sin, that divine order could ripple. Or perhaps it was the book's sky clock, its sun gates, its star laws. Too close to forbidden sky mapping. The watchers unnerved them. Heaven crossing earth, angels mingling with flesh. Lines blurred, boundaries trembled, and Enoch's vision of Messiah, too loose for new doctrines, too open, too early. Then came the Gnostics. They loved secrets, loved hidden keys. When they held Enoch close, fear stirred again. Picture that room. The voices rising, falling. This book speaks of angels, says one. But it opens doors we cannot shut, says another. What of the calendar? Of the names? Of the stars? Heads nod. The table quiets. Enoch is set aside, and the Council of Laodicea, in 363 CE, closed the gate. Enoch was not chosen, not placed among the sacred scrolls. The canon passed him by. The gates closed. In the east, John of Damascus drew the line. In the west, Pope Gelasius named him forbidden. 495 CE, a decree, books not to be touched. Enoch among them. And yet, in Ethiopia, he lived. The mountains wrapped him in silence. The desert stood watch. In this hidden valley, Enoch bloomed, while the rest of the world turned away. He remained holy, a rare flower, untouched by Rome's pruning. But what if they were wrong? What if they cast out truth, mistaking it for danger? These thoughts stirred in quiet hearts. Believers whispered the words. Let them flow like streams underground. The rabbis, too, set him aside. In times of ruin, they chose clarity over wonder. Enoch was too wide, too strange for the world they tried to hold together. Did they ever read him fully? Or did fear come first? Were they wise guardians? Or gatekeepers afraid of light? The banning speaks volumes. Every faith draws borders. Every temple builds fences. They guard the flame, but sometimes bury it. And then, James Bruce, 1773. He crossed deserts, scaled myths, and came back holding fire. Enoch returned, not as relic, but as ghost. He spoke again, and we, like those before, must choose to look away or to look deeper, to silence the stars or to let them sing. Now, picture a different world, a world where angels walk the fields, but not the shining messengers of simple news. No, these ones fall. They teach secrets. They share forbidden crafts. War, paint, the turn of a spell. This is no fantasy. It is Enoch. Before him, angels came and went. Bare voices, brief glimpses. But in his book, they become real, named, ranked, capable of falling. And fall they do. Simjaza, Azazel, Barakiel, each brings a gift. That wounds. Weapons for men, charms for women, lightning, drawn down like wine. They choose earth over heaven, desire over duty, touch over glory, and with them, giants, Nephilim, children of mingled blood. They eat, they devour, until the earth groans. These are not bedtime tales. They are the roots of all monsters. And when the giants fall, their spirits linger, not angels, not men, demons, trapped between, wandering, whispering. Enoch tells us, they seek flesh, they press sickness into skin, they breathe lies into ears. And the angelic order, it blooms from his words. 7 stand before God: Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, healer, watcher, warrior, messenger, all bearing L of God, all bearing roles, still sung, from Jewish mystics to Christian painters to fantasy's newest pages. They came. Islam embraced them. Gabriel, Michael, the throne bearers, the death bearers. Though Enoch is not named, his angels soar across the texts. In medieval minds, the hierarchy deepened. Dionysius carved it in 9, and the sky bloomed with ranks, orders, dominions, powers. Enoch's shadow still walks the firmament, still whispers in the stars. Artists filled clouds with winged beings, brushes dipped in myth, all because an ancient scroll once named the stars. The Book of Enoch, not just names. He told their fall, and in that descent, a pattern formed. Pride before ruin, heaven exchanged for touch, the arc of every fall since. Milton's Satan, a son of Enoch's watchers. Jewish mystics drank deep. The Zohar flowed from Enoch's stream. Kabbalists mapped heavens, with his words as guide. Early monks fought Enoch's demons. Lustful, cunning, hungry for skin. Exorcisms echo his visions. Prayers whisper his warnings. In modern myths, fallen angels walk again. Comics, screens, books, games. Beautiful ones who chose the dark, who still long for light. Even tales of aliens. The same bones, dressed in new skin. Watcher lore retold. Hybrids, technology, memory lost in stars. Enoch speaks in static, in sightings, in silence. Guardian angels, demons in dreams. Heaven's wars leaking into earth. We know his language, even if we've never heard his name. This banned book still speaks, still shapes. It seeps like spring water through every crack in dogma. And now, as hands reopen it, its angels fly again. Into novels, into films, into wondering minds. They ask the same old question. What waits beyond the veil? Enoch never left. He waited, like stars, for night to fall. Then he shone. Ancient text, modern myth, words once whispered by saints, now hummed on podcasts. James Bruce brought it back, but it never truly left. Enoch's seeds grew strange gardens, some beautiful, some wild, some dark as coal. On late-night radio, Nephilim walk again, hybrid giants in shadows. The flood did not drown them all. Conspiracy twists scripture. Truth mutates. UFO voices trace Enoch's sky path. Fiery wheels, star calendars, ancient astronauts, old stories in chrome suits. The Watchers, now cosmic rebels. Their judgment, a tale of exile. The giants, proof in the blood. And Enoch's vanishing, a liftoff. He was not, for God took him. New rites rise. Enochian magic, angel scripts from ether. John D. binds them with Latin and dream. Books line crystal-lit shelves. They promise power, healing, vision, chakras of heaven, mantras of angels, not for salvation, for self. The banned book speaks again. Doomsday prophets read his fire. Falling stars, burning skies, the end written in flame. Every new disaster, a tick on Enoch's clock. Online, his visions live. Millions watch. Flat earth maps, domes, pillars, gates. They don't see myth. They see warning, hidden truth, buried by time, unveiled again. The Nephilim skull hunters journey to distant lands, South America, the Middle East. They seek bones, elongated skulls displayed in glass cases, shaped by binding, not bloodlines. But to readers of Enoch, these are no artifacts. They are proof of angels who mingled, of giants born of stars. Photos flood timelines. Nephilim found. Captions gasp. Whispers spread. Why was it banned? What was the church hiding? If not danger, then why silence? Enoch's absence fans the flame. Mystery becomes magnet. Forbidden fruit always draws hands. But not all who drink from Enoch's will seek light. White supremacists poison his vision. They twist angel lines into bloodlines. The Watchers fall into racial fear. Ancient tale, modern hate. With terrible ease, it turns. Yet Enoch still births wonder. Comic artists ink celestial maps. Fantasy writers breathe new life into archangels, into battles of heaven. Video games build on his blueprint. 7 heavens become 7 levels. Angels guided through code. Demons rendered in pixels. Young minds meet old myths. Not in scripture, but on screens. Some Christians search his pages for answers. Jude quotes him. Peter speaks of spirits. Enoch unlocks what lies between the lines. Online groups gather. They turn digital pages, finding keys to scripture's locked doors. Jewish mystics return again. Kabbalah traces his ascent. 7 heavens mapped for spiritual rise. Enoch becomes Metatron, hope wrapped in transformation. Even scholars now bend to read him. They once scoffed. Now they seek clues. His stars date ancient wars. His visions shape our map of the end. Climate voices call his name. He saw nature rebel. He saw angels weep. Now we echo him. In grief, in sea, in flame, yoga mats, retreats, visualization through the 7 heavens. Each level, a state of mind, ancient skies, inner paths. This is myth's path. It molts. It reshapes. It sings in new tongues. Enoch's strange lights now flicker in quantum rooms. They dance between atoms. What would he think? That old dreamer? Would he know his words? Beneath our neon veils? Maybe he would smile. Maybe he always knew. Myths don't die. They walk. In borrowed skin. Enoch's long shadow still stretches. Through libraries. Through scripts. Through screens. Books filled with love-struck angels. Wings and heartbreak. Thrillers with secrets buried in dust. Horrors with ancient births. Each a quiet echo of the banned book. Tolkien read Enoch. Middle-earth hums with his tones. Wizards as watchers. Numenor as fall. Seeing stones as windows. Even the Silmarillion's creation. A song of stars. A harmony begun by Enoch. Lovecraft denied him, but the shadows show it. Great old ones. Minds too vast. Too deep. They sleep beneath. They gave knowledge. They birthed giants. His horror. His cosmos. His watchers. Milton's Satan. A wanderer through Enoch's skies. The poem of rebellion. Its bones born in Enoch's dream. The fallen angels longed for flesh. Desire echoed the Watcher's fall. Rebellion spread from heaven's heights. Cast down by blazing force. On screen, their shadows stretch. City of Angels shows them falling in love. Constantine battles them in alleys and cathedrals. Hollywood wears Enoch's bones in fire and light. Films like Noah and Legion breathe his visions. Divine wrath, twisted birth, the monstrous walking among men. 15 seasons of supernatural unfold in Enoch's shape. Named angels, forbidden scrolls. A cosmic war that bleeds through Earth. The book itself becomes a gate. A plot device to breach dimensions. Even Superman is marked by his myth. Sent from the stars. Walking the dust with power beyond men. His dual struggle mirrors the Watcher's war. Video games pull from Enoch's springs. In Diablo, angels fall. Demons rise. Worlds clash. Bayonetta floods the screen with wings and fire. Angels and beasts born from old texts. Enoch's ink digitalized. Players wield the ancient, without ever reading the source. Graphic novels speak clearest. Neil Gaiman's Sandman. Fallen angels echo the Watchers. Hellboy battles creatures of divine blood. Cosmic wars inked from a banned dream. In music, the echo deepens. Black Sabbath sings the Watcher's lament. Folk songs mourn angels who chose Earth. Even pop hints at that bright fall. Philip Pullman's worlds are drawn from Enoch's sky. Multiple realms, beings of light, rebellion, and dust. Children's books shimmer with Nephilim. Half-angel teens awaken in chaos. Fighting for good. In new names. In old wars. Role-playing games bend to Enoch's scaffolding. Dungeons and Dragons trace his heavens. World of Darkness echoes his ranks. Players live the myth unknowing. Horror films borrow his dread. Possession scenes draw from his ghosts. Disembodied spirits claw for flesh. The Nephilim unrest. But it runs deeper. Beyond plot. Beyond trope. Enoch shaped our justice. Heaven watches. Wrong is weighed beyond the veil. Truth hidden, then revealed. This is Enoch's pattern. Indiana Jones chases it. National treasure seeks it. Scripture and cinema echo the same haunt. He taught us apocalypse, not as fire's end, but as unveiling. A truth shown, a veil torn. Every dystopia, every collapse, every final day walks his same road. Even our visions of heaven and hell, circles, thrones, punishments, were first glimpsed in Enoch's sleep. He dreamed in fire. He walked among stars. He was silenced, but not erased. Myth flows where it will, and in new waters. Enoch lives. The fallen angels longed for flesh. Desire echoed the watcher's fall. Rebellion spread from heaven's heights, cast down by blazing force. On screen, their shadows stretch. City of Angels shows them falling in love. Constantine battles them in alleys and cathedrals. Hollywood wears Enoch's bones in fire and light. Films like Noah and Legion breathe his visions. Divine wrath, twisted birth, the monstrous walking among men. 15 seasons of supernatural unfold in Enoch's shape, named angels, forbidden scrolls, a cosmic war that bleeds through Earth. The book itself becomes a gate, a plot device to breach dimensions. Even Superman is marked by his myth, sent from the stars, walking the dust with power beyond men. His dual struggle mirrors the Watcher's war. Video games pull from Enoch's springs. In Diablo, angels fall, demons rise, worlds clash. Bayonetta floods the screen with wings and fire. Angels and beasts born from old texts. Enoch's ink digitalized. Players wield the ancient, without ever reading the source. Graphic novels speak clearest. Neil Gaiman's Sandman. Fallen angels echo the Watchers. Hellboy battles creatures of divine blood. Cosmic wars inked from a banned dream. In music, the echo deepens. Black Sabbath sings the Watcher's lament. Folk songs mourn angels who chose Earth. Even pop hints at that bright fall. Philip Pullman's worlds are drawn from Enoch's sky. Multiple realms, beings of light, rebellion, and dust. Children's books shimmer with Nephilim. Half-angel teens awaken in chaos, fighting for good, in new names, in old wars. Role-playing games bend to Enoch's scaffolding. Dungeons and Dragons trace his heavens. World of Darkness echoes his ranks. Players live the myth unknowing. Horror films borrow his dread. Possession scenes draw from his ghosts. Disembodied spirits claw for flesh. The Nephilim unrest. But it runs deeper, beyond plot, beyond trope. Enoch shaped our justice. Heaven watches. Wrong is weighed beyond the veil. Truth hidden, then revealed. This is Enoch's pattern. Indiana Jones chases it. National treasure seeks it. Scripture and cinema echo the same haunt. He taught us apocalypse, not as fire's end, but as unveiling. A truth shown, a veil torn. Every dystopia, every collapse, every final day walks his same road. Even our visions of heaven and hell, circles, thrones, punishments, were first glimpsed in Enoch's sleep. He dreamed in fire. He walked among stars. He was silenced, but not erased. Myth flows where it will, and in new waters. Enoch lives. Enoch's visions of cosmic order and disorder, of beings caught between worlds, of secrets hidden and revealed, still shape the stories we tell around modern fires. What if Enoch had stayed? Let's play with time for a moment. Imagine a world where the Book of Enoch was never banned. A world where it sits between Genesis and Exodus in every Bible. A world where children learn about the Watchers alongside Noah and Moses. How would this world differ from our own? In this other world, the line between angels and humans blurs. Churches teach that heavenly beings once walked among us, took human wives, and shared divine secrets. The clear borders between heaven and earth, so firm in our world's main faiths, grow misty and thin. Sunday school lessons include the tale of 200 angels who gave up heaven for love. Preachers speak of Samjaza and Azazel alongside Gabriel and Michael. Children draw pictures of the Watchers, teaching early humans to make swords and mirrors, to read the stars and cast spells. In university theology departments, scholars spend careers studying Enoch's detailed cosmology, his strange calendar with its 364 days, and portal gates for the sun becomes as widely known as the Genesis creation story. His 7 heavens appear on classroom walls, where our world might show solar systems. This alternate world's art looks different, too. Renaissance painters don't just show serene angels carrying messages. They paint the Watcher's fall, the giant's rampage, Enoch's journey through the crystal halls of heaven. Michelangelo's ceiling might show God, commanding the archangels to chain the rebels beneath the earth. The cosmos itself looks different to people in this world. They grow up seeing stars as sentient beings who can sin and face judgment. They learn that natural disasters might come from angels bound beneath mountains, straining at their chains. The border between myth and science stays fluid longer. Religious movements take different turns. Early Christian Gnostics, who loved Enoch's mystic visions, might not have been pushed to the edges of the faith. Their focus on hidden knowledge and cosmic journeys might have become central rather than suspect. Christianity might have kept more of its mystical roots. Jewish mysticism would stand in a different light, too. The Kabbalah, with its visions of divine realms that mirror Enoch's heavens, would not seem like a later addition to Jewish thought. Instead, it would appear as a natural outgrowth of texts always at Judaism's heart. The very notion of canon would shift with Enoch included, despite its strange claims. Other texts might have found welcome, too. The Gospel of Thomas, the Shepherd of Hermas, the Pista Sophia, all might have remained in wider use. Sacred libraries would grow thicker with voices once silenced. Would faith be stronger in this world or weaker? On one hand, Enoch's vivid cosmic drama might have kept more people engaged with religious stories. On the other, his strange claims might have made the whole tradition seem less trustworthy to modern minds. Perhaps both would be true for different people. Angels would play larger roles in daily faith. If the Watchers could fall through wrong choices, then the angels still serving in heaven might seem more like us, beings with free will who chose to stay true. Prayers might address them more directly, asking for wisdom from those who remained faithful when others fell. The idea of fallen angels teaching forbidden knowledge would change how cultures view learning itself. Would science face more resistance? Seen as touching on secrets angels were punished for sharing? Or would it gain religious blessing? As the completion of what the Watchers began, different faiths might choose different paths. Our modern myths would grow from different soil, without the need to rediscover and reinvent Enoch's banned ideas. Would our vampire tales, alien abduction stories, and superhero sagas take different forms? The need to disguise ancient myths as new inventions might fade. Political movements would find different sacred supports. Enoch's clear vision of cosmic justice, where the powerful face divine punishment for harming the weak, might fuel movements for social change. His vision of final judgment, where kings and rulers are cast down, could inspire those fighting oppression. Environmental awareness might follow a different path too. Enoch describes the earth itself, crying out to heaven because of human sin. This personification of nature, as a being that suffers and speaks, might have fostered deeper ecological thinking within faith traditions. The gap between religious and magical thinking might never have grown so wide. Enoch's angels teach astrology, herbcraft, and cosmic secrets. Had these teachings remained part of sacred scripture, the split between faith and magic that shaped European history might have softened into something more merciful. The very shape of human hope might look different. Enoch's vision of resurrection of a world cleansed and remade offers not just symbol, but specific comfort. His named angels, watchers of wind and fire, of rain and frost, put faces to the powers that govern the world. His seven heavens give the afterlife a map. They chart the invisible, making the unseen world feel near, tangible, real. Of course, we cannot know how the smallest change ripples through time. Perhaps in this imagined world, someone writes another essay asking, what if Enoch had been banned? They might picture a world much like our own and marvel at how different things could be. The question matters. It reminds us of how powerful the choices around sacred texts truly are. The decision to include or exclude even one book shaped how billions would come to picture the cosmos. It guided art, literature, psychology, and politics in ways we are only beginning to understand. In the end, though Enoch was banned, it never truly vanished. Like the Watchers who walked among us, it remained at the margins of our world, whispering to those who dared to listen, rejected by decree, but alive in dream. It shaped how we fear, how we imagine, how we speak of stars and spirits. And now, again, readers return to it. They walk with Enoch through crystal halls, They hear the earth cry against sin. They witness angels fall for love and meet justice with bowed heads. The Book of Enoch reminds us, no truth dies just because authority says so. It waits, like a seed in dry soil, waiting for season, waiting for rain.